Chapter 1000. When Miru Xian saw that Su Yun recognized her, she became even more excited. "It's me, it's me, it's me. You finally recognized me. Yun, brother Yun, why are you here? I'm not dreaming, am I?" Su Yun was just about to casually say that he came to see a friend, but he suddenly realized a problem. Mu Wei. Miru Xian. Damn, it can't be so coincidental, right? There were two people with the same surname in the same building? It was originally a small surname, unlike the big surnames like Zhang, Wang, Li, and Zhao. It was not surprising that there were two people with the same name in the same building. "Do you live in this building?" Su Yun asked tentatively. He already had doubts in his heart, and he was waiting for Miru Xian to give him an answer. "Yes, Unit 1, 6th floor." Miru Xian smiled. "Let's go, brother Yun. I'll take you to my house. I haven't had a chance to thank you properly for that incident. I thought I would never have a chance to see you again, but I didn't expect to see you downstairs. Oh, God really likes to joke around." On the 6th floor of Unit 1, Su Yun smiled awkwardly. He dared to bet that if Mu Wei was not Miru Xian's father, he could eat the whole building. Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? "Don't worry, brother Yun. My parents are at home. You don't have to feel awkward." Miru Xian said, "My parents are very kind people. They are very easy to talk to. I told them about that incident, and they have always wanted to see you and thank you in person. Since then, I haven't worked part-time at night." Su Yun did not understand. "You are the daughter of a mayor. Why do you have to work part-time? Isn't this increasing the pressure of competition for the children of the lower-class families? Come on, let's go up and have a seat." Miru Xian invited him again. If it was any other time, Su Yun would definitely refuse, but this time was different. He had just been rejected by Mu Wei. Chong still needed Mu Wei's help, so Su Yun could only be thick-skinned. "Well, I really should pay a visit to Uncle and Auntie." Miru Xian smiled brightly. Her unhappiness was swept away in an instant. She grabbed Su Yun's hand and ran into the building. Mu Wei opened the door and saw Su Yun again. To his surprise, his daughter stood in front of Su Yun and said to him excitedly, "Dad, this is the brother Su Yun that I mentioned to you before. He was the one who helped me at that time." Mu Wei felt as if time had stopped. What the hell was going on? "Hello, Uncle Me," Su Yun smiled. He used his expression to tell Mu Wei, "I didn't think we'd meet again so soon." Mu Wei opened his mouth wide and said hello 3 times before moving aside. He allowed his daughter to bring Su Yun into the house and lead him to the sofa. Miru Xian expressed the highest hospitality for Su Yun's arrival. She made the best tea in the house and even took out all kinds of nuts and snacks. Although Su Yun tried to stop her from going through so much trouble, Miru Xian couldn't stop at all. Madame Yi also came out to greet the guests. The family of 3 thanked Su Yun with sincerity. Finally, after chatting for a while, Mu Wei said, "Su Yun, I'll help you ask about the matter you just told me. As long as it doesn't go against my principles, I'll help you take care of it." "Uncle Me, I really didn't know that you were Ro Xian's father. If I knew, I would have been even more embarrassed to come." "Su Yun, if Uncle Me feels that it's hard for you, I'd rather you pretend that I didn't say anything before." Only then did Su Ro Xian know that Su Yun had actually come once before. After asking, he suddenly realized that his father had actually given him the cold shoulder. That was too much. "Dad, brother Su Yun is such a good person. His friend must also be a good person. How can you offend Uncle Meng's friend just because of a small matter with brother Su Yun's friend? You can't just ignore it." Miru Xian said, "Hurry up and call the police station and tell them to let him go. Otherwise, I'll go talk to them." Mu Wei had such a precious daughter that gave him a headache. His daughter normally wouldn't do anything excessive, nor would she make any excessive requests. However, she was very willful this time. "Ro Xian, Uncle Me also has his own difficulties," Su Yun said. He didn't want Miru Xian to make things difficult for Mu Wei. Miru Xian rolled her eyes at her father. "What difficulties?" Uncle Meng is using his power to pressure people. Dad, why can't you use your power to calm things down? Mu Wei was speechless at his daughter's words. He could only pick up the phone. I'll go make a call and talk to them. Uncle Me. Su Yun was a little embarrassed, but he was still secretly happy. Miru Xian said proudly, That's right, Dad. You're the one who's fair. Mu Wei smiled bitterly and walked to the room to make a call. With his status, even if Chong really did commit an unforgivable crime, he would probably get special treatment. Not to mention that it was just a small dispute. Anyway, the fine had been paid and the compensation had been given. It was time to let him go. Sure enough, Mu Wei's phone call was very useful. Chong was already prepared to spend the night at the police station. The police officer who caught him again appeared in front of him with a smile. He, brother, this is really a misunderstanding. The flood rushed to the Dragon King's temple. One family beat another family. Whose family with you? You caught me twice, and I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Tell me, what do you want? Chong rolled his eyes at the police officer unhappily. The police officer walked forward embarrassedly. Brother, it's really a misunderstanding. If you had said earlier that you're the mayor's man, we wouldn't have dared to treat you like this. This matter is really... Sigh. Oh, you're scared now. Chong heard that. This time, Brother Yun directly used the mayor's name. He stood up straighter than before. Didn't I say before? Don't provoke me. If I can make you let me go once, I can make you let me go a second time. Humph. But I'm not leaving now. I'm worried that you will catch me again. I've already been sent to the palace twice. If you catch me again, I'll be sent to the palace 3 times. I won't be able to show my face when I go out. Don't worry, brother. This is all a misunderstanding. There's no criminal record. The police officer explained. Chongzi was unforgiving. That won't do. You even kicked me. I remember that. Violent law enforcement. Humph. Let's wait and see. I'm going to ask the district chief to come and show him how you treat me. Brother, I'm begging you. I was wrong. If you don't mind, please kick me. The police officer was at his wits' end. Mayor Chu has already spoken. He wants us to release him immediately. Can't you do us a favor and give us a chance? Chong clicked his tongue. Just as he was about to say something, Lin Gu suddenly walked in. He had received a call from Su Yun, and Su Yun guessed that Chong might act cool. So, he asked Lin Gu to bring him out using Mu Wei's name. Chong, let's go. The mayor is still waiting for us. Lin Ji's simple sentence made the police officer speechless. Chong didn't want to waste any more time. He quickly stood up and ran towards Lin Gu. Where's Brother Yun? Chong laughed. Lin Gu looked at Chong helplessly. He's busy with his own matters. You're already an adult. Why are you still so impulsive? Sigh. Let's go. Let's leave this place quickly. Don't cause any more trouble. Chapter 1001. Lin Gu left the police station with Chong and went straight to Panjiayuan. Kevin Matthew was there to talk to Ma Sanner about his situation. Because Su Yun had repeatedly emphasized to Ma Sanner that Kevin Matthew was his good friend and VIP, Ma Sanner naturally did not dare to neglect him. Although Kevin Matthew asked him to find someone from the older generation, and he had no clue at all, he still agreed. Su Yun finally rushed back at midnight. Miru Xian was too enthusiastic and kept asking him to stay a little longer, but it was too late, and Su Yun felt that it was really inconvenient, so he got up and wanted to leave. Miru Xian also insisted on sending Su Yun to the car. In addition to thanking Su Yun for helping her last time, she also thanked Su Yun for helping her this time. Fu Yingdong was her middle school classmate. When they were in middle school, he chased after her like crazy, but she never agreed. She thought that after entering university, their relationship would fade. However, every year after the middle school reunion during the holidays, Fu Yingdong would pester her for a while. It was the same today, and he pestered her all the way to her neighborhood. Miru Xian did not know what to do. And this time, Fu Yingdong was probably much bolder than before, and he even touched her a little, which made her feel even more disgusted. Just as she was thinking about how to get rid of him, Su Yun appeared again like a god descending from the heavens. Su Yun helped the helpless Miru Xian get out of trouble again and again. How could Miru Xian not be moved and surprised? Was this not a special kind of fate? Yes, it was a kind of fate. Miru Xian quickly confirmed her thoughts. If it wasn't fate, why didn't other men appear to help her out of her predicament? Why did it have to be Su Yun every time? Why did Su Yun always appear when she needed help the most? If this was not fate, then there was nothing in this world that could be considered fate. It was as if Miru Xian had been shot by Cupid, the god of love. She had fallen in love with him without even realizing it. After Su Yun's car left the neighborhood, Miru Xian lowered her head in disappointment and returned home. She didn't notice that after Su Yun's car left, an inconspicuous black car followed closely behind. When Su Yun arrived at Ma Saner's shop in Panjiayuan, the first thing he said when he pushed open the door was not to ask about Chong, but to Ma Saner, "You don't have anything valuable here, do you? I'm worried that someone will come looking for trouble." "What do you mean?" Ma Saner was startled. In the vicinity of Panjiayuan, no one dared to make a move on him, Ma Saner. Without waiting for Su Yun's explanation, a few angry young men pushed open the door and entered. The leader was Fu Yingdong, whose face was swollen after being slapped by Su Yun. How could he take this lying down? After being slapped by Su Yun, he had been lurking at the entrance of the neighborhood, waiting. He had also contacted a few good friends, all of whom were good fighters in high school. Now they were all gangsters. With his gangster friends cheering him on, Fu Yingdong felt a lot more at ease. "Your legs aren't long, but you're pretty fast." Su Yun could not be bothered with them. He sat comfortably on the sofa. With Lin Ge and Chong around, he did not need to make a move. Furthermore, this was Ma Saner's territory. Ma Saner would naturally protect his territory. Fu Yingdong brought his gangster friends in and was a little dumbfounded. He did not expect that there would be so many people on the other side. Originally, he had planned to beat them up as a group, but after calculating the number of people, there was enough for a one-on-one fight. "You dare to hit my brother? I think you're tired of living. Today, I'll teach you a lesson." One of Fu Yingdong's gangster brothers scolded. He took off his shirt, revealing a body full of colorful tattoos. He looked very fierce. "If you want to make a move, then get out. Be careful in here." Ma Saner's nerves immediately tensed up. Beside this tattooed grandson was a Qing dynasty vase worth more than 100,000 yuan. Although it was not considered an expensive collection, Ma Saner liked it very much. This was because it was said that this vase was once used by Zhu Gu. What people feared would always happen. Ma Saner was afraid that this grandson would hurt his precious vase. But this grandson picked up his precious vase and smashed it on the ground. This smash was a declaration of war. *CK your grandfather. Ma San hadn't fought for so many years. Seeing that his vase was smashed, he directly rushed up like a hungry tiger. He pushed the guy with dragon and tiger tattoos to the ground and punched him in the face like raindrops. "What the *CK? Su Yun hissed. Ma Saner's reaction was a bit too much. Wasn't it just a vase? His shop did not lack anything. Why was he acting like his urn was smashed? Was there a need to be so ruthless? After more than a dozen punches, the tattooed youth who was arrogant and despotic a few seconds ago was directly crippled. His originally thin face was directly swollen like a pig's head. Ma Saner's crazy move directly scared the other gangsters. It wasn't that they hadn't fought before, but they had never seen such a fierce fight. The hatred was as deep as the hatred of killing one's father. The soft ones were afraid of the hard ones were afraid of the stupid ones were afraid of the ones who didn't care about their lives, and the ones who didn't care about their lives were afraid of the ones who didn't care about their lives. These people who claimed to be gangsters were at best stupid. When they met a person like Ma San, who didn't make a move easily, they naturally didn't dare to act rashly. "Brothers, go, go." Fu Yingdong's Adam's apple moved. Even the gangsters were scared, let alone him. Dong Zi, my stomach hurts. You guys hold it for a while. Someone had already slipped away. With one person taking the lead, the others also went soft. They all shouted that they had eaten something bad and wanted to leave quickly. Even the guy who was beaten up by Ma San'er struggled to get up and ran away saying that he had diarrhea. What else could Fu Yingdong do? Fu Yingdong was a general without an army. He was definitely not a match for him in a fight. I also have diarrhea. Diarrhea your sister. Ma San'er took out the credit card machine and placed it in front of Fu Yingdong. Compensate me. When I bought that vase, it was 130,000 yuan. According to the current market price and the unlimited potential in the future, you have to compensate me at least 300,000 yuan. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving this place. I don't have it. Fu Yingdong was startled. Ma San'er turned to Su Yun. Brother Yun, where's the knife? Su Yun smiled slightly. You don't even have 300,000 yuan and you still want to chase after Miru Xian? Are you kidding me? She already told me that your father is the chairman of Tian Rong Trading Company. Although his net worth is not high, it is still over 100 million yuan, right? If you can't even afford 300,000 yuan, then you have to leave one hand behind. No. It's two hands. Ma San'er's face immediately changed when he heard that this grandson was rich. Now this vase is worth 600,000 yuan. Why don't you just rob a bank? Fu Yingdong was speechless. He had never seen such a rapid increase in price. Ma San'er grabbed his collar. Don't talk nonsense with me. 600,000 yuan, not a cent less. If you continue to talk nonsense, I will raise the price. This is my shop, my things. I will ask for as much money as I want. If you have the ability, go to the Commodity Price Bureau and sue me. Clang. Lin Ge had already thrown a fruit knife over. Chapter 1002. 600,000 was nothing to Fu Yingdong. His father would casually give him 3 million as pocket money every year. This was also Fu Yingdong's capital to pick up girls. Throughout his years in university, he had never lacked girls, but he had always been thinking about Miru Xian. This was because he knew that those girls who would spread their legs in front of him were all after his money. Only Miru Xian was different. Moreover, his father was extremely supportive of his pursuit of Miru Xian. When the summer holidays started, he transferred 1 million to his card so that he could spend as much as he wanted on Miru Xian. Because his family's trading company was in this district, it was important to maintain a good relationship with the leaders. If he could directly become in-laws with the leaders, wouldn't that be even better? Mu Wei only had one girl, and he did not have any children. As long as Fu Yingdong could pursue her, then they would be a combination of a rich second generation and an official second generation. A tall, rich and handsome man with a fair, rich and beautiful woman. No matter how one looked at it, it would be too suitable. However, Miru Xian did not like Fu Yingdong. Fu Yingdong was indeed very good in all aspects, but there was one thing that was not good about him. He did not have a manly spirit. When it came to bullying the old, the weak, the sick, and the weak, Fu Yingdong would definitely not fall behind. However, when faced with a fierce demon, he would definitely be the first to wither. This kind of man who could not get hard at the crucial moment was like a man who could not get hard at the crucial moment in bed. He was called a wimp. How could a wimp enter Miru Xian's eyes? In the past, Miru Xian did not like Fu Yingdong. Later, after seeing a real man like Su Yun, it was even more impossible for her to like Fu Yingdong, a wimp. Therefore, Miru Xian deliberately distanced herself from Fu Yingdong during the class reunion. She hoped that he would understand that it was impossible between them. Who knew that not only did Fu Yingdong not understand, he even chased after Miru Xian to ask for an explanation. What else could she say? If she didn't like him, then she didn't like him. If not for Su Yun's timely appearance downstairs, Fu Yingdong was prepared to forcefully kiss her. After Fu Yingdong swiped $600,000, his father immediately called him. To prevent him from spouting nonsense, Su Yun gestured for him to turn on the speakerphone. Fu Yingdong was afraid of physical pain, so he could only do as he was told. Son, are you crazy? 600,000 yuan in one go? I have a record on my phone. Fu Yingdong's father, Fu Chong, said loudly, even if I give you 1 million yuan to get Mayor Yu's daughter, isn't this too extravagant? What did you buy? Without waiting for Fu Yingdong to reply, Fu Chong said, at this time, you definitely can't buy a car. Hee. Kid, let me tell you, if you buy those luxury bags and shoes, it is not worth it. You might as well buy a high-grade jade Buddha or a famous diamond ring. Those are worth keeping. Those luxury items are only used to cheat those green TEB * cheese. Mayor Yu's daughter is not that kind of girl with no taste. You have to think carefully. Don't go for wool and come home shorn. Even if you spend so much money, you still won't get anything good. Like father, like son. The father actually taught his son how to pick up girls. Fu Yingdong did not know how to reply. Fu Chong felt that something was wrong and asked, did you hear what your father said? At this time, Su Yun had already passed a piece of paper to Fu Yingdong. Fu Yingdong looked at it and immediately shook his head. Lin Gu waved the knife in his hand, and Fu Yingdong obediently took the piece of paper and said into the phone, Dad. I let you down. I gambled outside, gambled, and lost. What? Fu Chong was furious when he heard this. You little brat. It is not easy for me to earn money. Even if you spend 600,000 yuan to play with a few green TB * cheese, it is still worth it. Son of AB * TCH, where are you? Come back immediately. After saying this, Fu Chong angrily hung up the phone. Fu Yingdong wanted to cry. How was he going to explain this when he went back? He would definitely be scolded to death by his father. Kid, I am not afraid to tell you. We're capable of anything. Ma San'er played with the knife as he said to Fu Yingdong, if you are not afraid of death, then go and cry to your father. Later we will see who kills who first. After you leave this door, go and ask around. Ask the neighbors if they know how evil I, Ma San'er, am. I don't plan to say anything. I will not say anything. Fu Yingdong said. He just wanted to leave this hellish place as soon as possible. Lin Gu looked at Su Yun and signaled him to ask if he could let this kid go. If it was on a normal day, Su Yun would be too lazy to deal with this kind of person. But today, Su Yun did not think that he would let this grandson go so easily. Fu Yingdong, I will only warn you once. If you harass Miru Xian again, it will not be as simple as a slap. Su Yun had been playing with his phone since he came here. Only now did he put his phone in his pocket. I just contacted a few friends. In a while, they will come to pick you up. On the way, they will teach you how to behave. Fu Yingdong was dumbfounded. They were not going to kill him to silence him, right? When he thought of this, Fu Yingdong had the urge to pee his pants. Ma San'er also thought so. He said to Su Yun, Brother Yun, I know a good place to dump a corpse. You have seen Eavesdropping 3, right? Let's go to the side of the coal train and dump a corpse. Let's chop this kid up and send him to the ends of the world. Brothers, I beg you to let me go. I promise I will not dare to do it again. Please don't kill me. Fu Yingdong's legs went soft and he fell to his knees. Lin Gu spat in disdain. A man has gold under his knees. You are a pile of dogs *T. I am a pile of dogs *T. As long as you don't kill me, I can be anything. Fu Yingdong was really scared. Pan Garden was especially mysterious at night. It was so quiet that it was scary. Just thinking about it, Fu Yingdong could really imagine the scene of killing someone and dumping a corpse. At this moment, the sound of a car engine was getting closer and closer. Su Yun smiled. They are here. Fu Yingdong's head instantly buzzed. However, the people who pushed open the door and came in were not the fiendish corpse throwers. Instead, they were three well-dressed hedonistic young masters. They were dressed in famous brands and reeked of alcohol and cigarettes. The 3 cars outside the door were all supercars. After entering the door, they respectfully called Su Yun, brother. They immediately took out a cigarette from their pockets and handed it to Su Yun. Then, they handed it to the others. In any case, in the eyes of these 3 hedonistic young masters, Su Yun was their big brother. All of Su Yun's friends were their big brothers. These 3 people were none other than Fu Tian, Gao Wanya and Nyeli. Fu Tian, this kid's surname is also Fu. You should know him, right? Su Yun said indifferently. Fu Tian looked at Fu Yingdong. I don't know him. There were also different levels of hedonistic young masters. Fu Yingdong was nothing in front of Fu Tian and the other 2. Comparisons were odious. This was the reason why Su Yun called them over. Since Fu Yingdong was also considered a hedonistic young master, he should know Fu Tian and the other hedonistic young masters in Beijing. Fu. Young Master Fu. I am Fu Yingdong. We have met once at a bar. If we go back 500 years, we might even be family. Fu Yingdong seemed to be grabbing onto a life-saving straw. Fu Tian looked at Su Yun and knew that this kid was not one of Brother Yun's men. He spat. Don't flatter yourself. Who do you think you are? Family. Are you worthy? Grandson, tell me, how did you offend Brother Yun? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? Brother Yun is not someone you can afford to offend. Chapter 1003. Fu Yingdong's current state could only be described as pissing his pants in terror. Who was this Su Yun? How did he offend someone that he could not afford to offend? A single text message was able to get Fu Tian, this kind of bully, to support him. How could he, Fu Yingdong, fight against Su Yun? Nyeli looked at Fu Yingdong with disdain. There were many second generations like him in Yanjing. They all tried their best to put on the label of a hedonist on their head and tried to squeeze into their circle. However, they did not know that the gap between them was huge. The reality was indeed like this. Nyeli and the other hedonist parents could casually throw away a few million without feeling any heartache. However, Fu Yingdong's father was already feeling heartache when he heard that his son had lost 600,000 yuan. This already showed that they were 2 different types of people. In the eyes of Fu Tian and the others, Fu Yingdong was really a complete loser. Brother Yun, leave this brat to us. We will help you educate him properly. Gao Wanya rubbed his fists and walked forward. He grabbed Fu Yingdong from beside Fu Tian and pulled him over. Since you know young Master Fu, then you should also know me, right? Do you know my temper? Young Master Gao, of course I know you. I beg you, I have eyes but can't see. Please give me a chance and let me go. Fu Yingdong said pitifully. Su Yun waved his hand. We still have some things to discuss. Today, I will have to trouble the 3 of you to help me throw this brat out. I will be in Yanjing for the next few days. When I have time, I will contact you and treat you to a drink. Brother Yun, when you have time, give me a call. We brothers will definitely serve you and your brothers well. Fu Tian had already patted his chest and guaranteed, if you need my help with anything, I will be free any time. Brother Yun, don't be courteous with me. Otherwise, I will really be angry. This kid was really a socialite. The way he spoke was much more sensible than before. Su Yun smiled and said, I have something I need your help with. Go ahead. Make this brat scram as far away as possible. Brother, let's take him to Baihua Mountain now and let him experience the fresh night scenery of the nature reserve. Fu Tian smiled wickedly. Fu Yingdong cried as he was dragged into the sports car by the 3 brothers. He was as obedient as a lamb. Even though he knew that he would be slaughtered, he still obediently waited for the butcher to sharpen his knife. Brother Yun, you're really something. These famous hedonistic young masters in Beijing are all your underlings. Ma San'er said in admiration, you should have asked them to do it when the police station was trying to get people out. They have money and don't treat it as money. It's much easier to do things. I owe you a favor, but I haven't settled the matter yet. I looked for you because I think highly of you. Didn't you also earn 600,000 yuan? Su Yun pointed at the broken vase on the ground. Ma San'er touched his chest with heartache and said, Sigh, 600,000 yuan is also my conservative estimate. If I had left it for a few decades, it might have been worth more than this. This was used by Huanzhu Gu Shu Fong Zhai. Have you watched too much of Aunt Xiong Yao's drama? Lin Gu said. Ma San'er helplessly cleaned up the broken vase and threw it into the trash can. He pondered for a bit and felt that 600,000 yuan was really worth it. If he had known that this brat's money was so easy to cheat, he would have asked for more. After all, it was normal for an antique business to not open for 3 years. However, once it opened, it had to be able to survive for 3 years. Ma San'er, you should understand my brother's matter, Su Yun said to Ma San'er, who was sweeping the floor with his butt up. You've already messed up one thing for me. This is your chance to make up for it. My dear brother, I knew you would do this. Ma San'er said indignantly, I already said that my ability was limited, but you still forced Brother Lin to force me. I've already done my best. Anyway, now that the person has come out, it's fine. Kevin Matthew smiled and said, Brother Yun, third brother has already agreed to help me find the person. He said that he will give me a reply very soon. Aya, when did you get promoted to third brother? Su Yun held back a smile and said, Not bad, you're an elder now. Ma San'er, let me tell you, my brother is not called third brother for nothing. If you don't give me a definite reply tomorrow, I won't be willing. Ma San'er swept the broken vase and pointed at the old grandfather clock. See, dear brother, it's already 5 nights. Even if I wanted to ask, I wouldn't want to wake you up, right? Don't worry, go back and have a good night's sleep. I'll investigate this matter thoroughly tomorrow morning and give you a reply as soon as possible. I've been waiting for you to say that. Su Yun said, Let's go and have supper together. I haven't eaten properly all day. To be honest, other than Ma San'er, no one present had eaten properly all day. Especially Chong, who had only drunk a bottle of mineral water for the whole day. He was already so hungry that his chest was sticking to his back. However, all of this was because of the trouble he caused, so he could only endure it and not say that he was hungry. Ma San'er chuckled and said, That's exactly what I was thinking. No matter what, I have to do my part as a host. Then I won't stand on ceremony with you. I originally wanted to invite you. But since you've already said so, we'll just have to comply. Su Yun didn't want to exchange pleasantries with Ma San'er. He knew that this kid was a miser. If he didn't seize the opportunity to rip him off, he would be letting himself down. Ma San'er really wanted to slap his own thigh. He knew that Su Yun wouldn't stand on ceremony with him. Sigh, if he had known earlier, he wouldn't have been so modest. This supper should be on me. I've troubled you guys, so it's on me, Kevin Matthew said, not lacking in money. Ma San'er's face welcomed spring. That's right. No matter what, you guys are the ones who troubled me. How can you expect me to pay for supper? Don't, you mustn't be like this. Su Yun immediately opened his mouth to stop Kevin Matthew. You don't understand Huaxia people, especially our third brother, Ma San'er, who is a real Beijing man. He wants face. Fighting with him to pay the bill in his territory is equivalent to slapping his face. What you're doing is wrong. Kevin Matthew really didn't understand Huaxia's dinner party culture. When Su Yun said it seriously, he was a little surprised. Don't you think so? Su Yun turned around and glanced at Ma San'er. Ma San'er's mouth twitched. He could only nod his head in response to Su Yun's words. Yes. See. Su Yun spread his hands. So, don't fight with third brother for the bill later. That's slapping third brother's face, and third brother will be angry. Ma San'er waved his hand. Su Yun already called him third brother, so it wasn't a big deal for him to treat supper. It wouldn't cost much. That's right. Whoever fights with me for the bill is slapping Ma San'er's face. Supper usually didn't eat food that was too oily or too meat, but Su Yun and the other 3 hungry men really needed to replenish their energy, so they went straight for the mutton hot pot. Yan Jing's mutton hot pot was authentic. Ma San'er didn't eat much, as it was too expensive. It cost 78 yuan per plate, but Su Yun and the other 3 ate more than 80 plates in one go, including fresh prawns, tripe, fish slices, and so on. They even drank a 20-year-old yellow bottle of Red Star Erguotu. A bottle of wine cost more than 1,000 yuan. Ma San'er was stunned when he paid the bill. Supper cost him nearly 10,000 yuan. He was still thinking that he could settle it with 1,000 yuan. Sigh, this group of locusts is really too much. Su Yun grinned at Ma San'er, who was paying the bill. It's not easy to get you to pluck a hair. But when you find the person Matthew is looking for, you can choose any place you want to eat. It's my treat. Chapter 1004. Su Yun and the others felt very comfortable after eating hot pot. The cool breeze at night was much more refreshing than the stuffy heat of the day. Their moods were greatly improved. Of course, at the same time, there were also people who felt the opposite. Fu Yingdong, who was thrown to Baihua Mountain by Fu Tian and the others, even had thoughts of dying. The 3 famous hedonistic young masters in Yanjing stripped his clothes and directly set them on fire. Fu Yingdong did not have any money on him, nor did he have a phone. He had no way of contacting his family. Even when he tried to hail a taxi, he was treated as a lunatic. No one cared about him at all. This broken place was so far away from his home. Even if he walked back with his clothes on, it would probably be difficult. There were not many passers-by in the middle of the night, but occasionally, they would pass by sporadically. When they looked at Fu Yingdong, their eyes were full of pity. This also explained the principle that a pitiful person must have a hateful side. If it was not for Fu Yingdong hatefully provoking Miru Xian, he would not have fallen to this state of crossing the road while covering his crotch. There was only one word to describe him: serves him right. Su Yun and the others returned to the hotel. On the way back, Chong did not utter a word. He knew what trouble he had caused Su Yun. Although Su Yun was smiling and seemed to be in a good mood, Chong still felt that Brother Yun was giving him face and did not want to reprimand him in front of so many people. He should find a time when no one was around to apologize. Once they reached the hotel, they returned to their respective rooms. Chong knocked on Su Yun's door. "Brother, I didn't think about this matter properly. I couldn't control my anger. I was wrong. Punish me. I failed to live up to your trust in me. Not only did I not help Matthew, I also caused trouble for you when I just arrived in Yanjing. You really need to be punished for what you did." Su Yun smiled slightly. "But I can understand. Even a person with a good temper has some temper. I heard from Matthew that even a person with a good temper like him wanted to turn hostile. This isn't your fault. If it were me, I might have done something even worse than you. Fortunately, the matter has been resolved. This is our luck. Try not to be impulsive in the future." Chong knew that Brother Yun was just comforting him and giving him a way out. The grateful Chong didn't know how to reply, so he could only grit his teeth and nod. "Rest early. Tomorrow, go and deal with the matter of your scrapped car. It's best if the insurance company can pay more. It's cheaper to buy a car in Beijing. If you have time, go to the 4S shop and take one back. Su Yun, let me know if you don't have enough money." Chong was very grateful. In his heart, Brother Yun was his biological brother. The next morning, Lin Gu and Chong went to deal with the scrapped car matter. Su Yun and Kevin Matthew had been waiting for Ma San'er's news. Finally, at 10:15, Ma San'er's news finally came. "Big Brother Yun, I have something to discuss with you in private." Ma San'er changed his usual unreliable tone and said very calmly, "Tell me a place and I'll meet you. But you have to come alone." Su Yun was stunned for a moment, but he still agreed to Ma San'er's request. "Okay, then I'll wait for you at the tea house next to Panjiayuan. See you later." Ma San'er hung up after saying that. Kevin Matthew looked at Su Yun and asked tentatively, "Is there any news?" "Not yet. I'll go out for a while. You wait for me at the hotel. Su Yun, maybe there will be news when I come back. Kevin Matthew nodded. He believed in Su Yun, just as Su Yun believed in him. When Su Yun arrived at the agreed place, Ma Saner had already brewed a pot of tea and was waiting for him quietly. Su Yun walked straight over and took a sip of the tea poured by Ma Saner. What's the matter? Why are you being so mysterious? Who is Matthew? Why is he looking for Chu Zigua? Ma Saner said as he poured tea for Su Yun. Chu Zigua committed the crime of treason because he was involved in too many state secrets and was detained alone. If it wasn't for his merits in the past, he would have been executed. If I didn't ask around, I wouldn't know that Chu Zigua is such a big shot. Su Yun's hand that was holding the teacup stopped. Are you sure that the Chu Zigua that Matthew asked you to look for is this Chu Zigua? Of course I'm sure, Ma Saner said. I'm quite sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't have told you nonsense. Then I understand what's going on. Su Yun nodded in realization. He had asked Kevin Matthew who this Chu Zigua was. Matthew said that this person was an old friend of his father. But now it seemed that this Chu Zigua was not just an old friend of his father. Ma Saner was startled. What's going on? It's a long story, Su Yun shook his head. Then, do you have any way to get us to meet Chu Zigua? Brother, what kind of joke are you playing with me? He is a convicted traitor locked up alone. How could I have the ability to get you to meet him? I'm serious, I really don't have that ability. Ma Saner said seriously. Once he said that, it was certain that he had no chance. Su Yun furrowed his brows. Ma Saner changed the topic. However, I do know someone who can bring you to meet him, and you know this person. Who? Su Yun was startled. Your Dragon Brigade's captain, Wan Guangxiao. Ma Saner said, before Wan Guangxiao took over, Chu Zigua was the captain of your Dragon Brigade. Shocking. When Su Yun heard this news, it was indeed very serious. He remembered that when he first joined the Dragon Brigade, Wan Guangxiao was the captain. He had never heard of Chu Zigua before. Brother Yun, Wan leader is Elder Chu's beloved disciple. But after he committed a crime, the country still handed the heavy responsibility of locking up Chu Zigua to Wan Guangxiao. Because no ordinary person can keep an eye on Chu Zigua, Ma Saner said. So, if you want to meet Elder Chu Zigua, you can only go through Captain Wan leader. Wan Guangxiao, that stiff-faced monster, was usually very busy. Even if he had time, he would at most walk around the Dragon Brigade with a straight face. Although Su Yun had been outstanding in the Dragon Brigade since he was young, Wan Guangxiao had never thought highly of him because of his talent. He treated everyone the same, completely unlike Wang Yi, who was always biased towards Su Yun. Now, asking Su Yun to go to Wan Guangxiao for help, wasn't this an international joke? Wan Guangxiao was the person who had angrily slammed the table and told Su Yun to scram back then. Because he had killed someone who deserved to die out of anger. But that was because his brother had died, and he, Su Yun, couldn't control his emotions at all. Speaking of Wan Guangxiao, Su Yun had respect, fear, and hatred, but he really didn't have any respect for him. I've heard about your matter. Ma Saner said. Back then, when you were kicked out, it was Wan Guangxiao's words. You more or less had some small conflicts with him. This is inevitable. But this is the only way I can think of. I really can't answer Wan Guangxiao. You also know that he looks down on people like us from all walks of life. Su Yun nodded. He understood that Wan Guangxiao was indeed a person who could be described as arrogant. But he did have the capital to be arrogant. An expert of the 9th level of the Earth Profound Realm, other than the 3 emperors, no one else in the world could shake him. Even Lin Ji's master, evil god Lu Xuanji, and the headmaster of the Hunter Academy, Gu Magpie World, had to be respectful towards him. He was the #1 person in Hua Xia's Dragon Brigade, and no one could shake his position. Chapter 1005. Brother Yun, this matter is really beyond my ability. Ma Saner said, but I still have something to say. No matter what, Senior Chu Zigua is suspected of treason. As for Kevin Matthew, although he is Chinese, his nationality is American. I feel that it is better not to let them meet. Why do you say that? Su Yun was startled. Ma San seemed to have something difficult to say. If you have something to say, just say it. Since I am here, I want to hear you say it clearly. Ma San took a sip of tea to moisten his throat. As the old saying goes, you may know a person for a long time without understanding his true nature. I know that you are a straightforward person. So, although we haven't interacted much over the years, we are sincere friends and brothers who can be trusted. I only started to open my heart to you after you trusted me. As for Kevin Matthew, I don't know how long you two have known each other, but I still feel that you must have opened your heart to Brother Yun first. Only then did he become trustworthy. Don't you think so? Then, who can guarantee that he doesn't have any selfish motives? Does he have any other motives? Su Yun was really stumped by Ma San's question. However, he thought that even if Kevin Matthew had selfish motives, he had sincerely helped him do a lot of things in the past. If it weren't for Kevin Matthew in Canada, Su Yun would have had to spend some effort to deal with the matter. With Kevin Matthew's help, it was much easier for him to deal with the matter. Big Brother Yun, I know that you're a loyal person and you're a particular person. That is why I am telling you so much. Ma San said, the final decision is up to you. After all, the only one who can get in touch with Wan Guangxiao is you. Of course, even if you are willing to help Matthew, Wan Guangxiao might not agree. This was not wrong. Su Yun nodded and took another sip of tea. Ma San, to be honest, I have troubled you for coming back to Yanjing this time. I also know that you are loyal, so I came to trouble you. See, I know that you think I am loyal, so you came to me. This is called thinking highly of me. Ma San was a little proud. There are still a lot of people in Yanjing who respect you, Yen Long. I am really happy that you came back to find me. He, this way, Ma San has face. Then why is it that every time I ask you to do something for me, you are always so evasive? You insist that if I don't force you, you won't do it. Su Yun was speechless. Are you born to like being abused? Ma San raised his teacup. I dare to evade Yen Long when he asks me to do something. Once this matter is spread out, if I don't want to do it when other people ask me to do something, I can just evade it. No one will dare to do anything to me. You really think a lot. Su Yun was convinced by him. You drink slowly. I will go back first. Ma San grinned. Brother Yun, pay the bill when you leave. I didn't bring my wallet. I have seen stingy people, but I have never seen someone as stingy as you. Su Yun spat. Then I will pay on credit. I didn't bring my wallet. F***ck, don't be so unloyal. Yesterday, I treated you to supper and spent nearly 10,000 yuan. You didn't even treat me to a pot of tea. You even said that I am stingy. You are the one who is stingy. Ma San muttered angrily. He slowly took out his wallet from his pocket and muttered, Bill, I will pay by card. In the culture of the Northerners, friends and brothers rushed to pay the bill when they came out to eat and drink tea. They felt that going Dutch would affect the brotherhood. It was almost impossible to see someone who would find an excuse to avoid paying the bill. Today, these two people really let the tea house owner see. It was only 98 yuan for a pot of Longjing tea. It was not expensive, but they were so unhappy to pay the bill. Was it necessary? This was what outsiders didn't understand. Su Yun was not a stingy person, but he liked to take advantage of stingy people. If he knew someone who was stingy with money, he would want to rip them off. Besides, Ma San was not poor. He could casually do more than a dozen business in a year. It was enough for him to earn more than an ordinary office worker in a lifetime. When Su Yun returned to the hotel again, Lin Gu and Chong were both back. They were efficient enough. They got up early in the morning and settled the car compensation. Then, they directly rushed to the largest car sales plaza in Yanjing. After walking around in various 4S stores, they quickly determined the Grand Cherokee that had an existing car. Chong wanted to get a domestic SUV, but the domestic level was really not good enough. It was really not that he didn't support domestic products, but with his current identity, driving a Harvard, Chang'an, or Ruehu, it was really degrading. The car made by Zhongtai was too much of a Tiguan. In the end, Chong gave up his desire to support domestic products. Badeo's car was good, but now, people were scolding Japanese cars. Some uncultured nationalists directly linked buying Japanese cars with betrayers. Although Chong was not that nationalistic, he was not to the extent of being a traitor, in the words of some patriotic traitors. So, he simply bought a diesel version of the Grand Cherokee. Although Xiao Dongying dared to be arrogant because of his American godfather, there was no risk of being smashed if he bought an American car. Some people who bought an American car would even scold the Japanese car owner. This was more or less like the pot calling the kettle black. Other than sincerely buying domestic products, what qualifications did others have to scold others? And speaking of which, among the domestic car owners, how many people would not choose domestic products if they had enough money? At the very least, most of the big bosses and celebrities that everyone knew would not buy BYD or Chery. The truth was the truth. Seeing that Su Yun had returned, Kevin Matthew hurriedly stood up. How is it? Is there any news from Ma Sana? Su Yun nodded. There is news, but the matter may be a little tricky. After a pause, Su Yun continued. The person you are looking for is locked in a special place. Not everyone can see him. Why? Kevin Matthew was stunned. You really don't know? Su Yun was puzzled. Kevin Matthew was at a loss. Know what? Su Yun took a deep breath. Don't worry. At least I already know who can solve this matter. Let me think of a way. This matter is not simple. Because the person you want to see is carrying the crime of betraying his country. This is not a small crime. Moreover, he is someone that Hua Xia thinks highly of. Is Chu Zigua that amazing? Lin Gu frowned. Su Yun nodded. If you have the chance, you can ask Senior Lu. He definitely knows about this person. TSK, TSK, TSK. Lin Gu smacked his lips when he heard that. Kevin Matthews' brows slowly furrowed. If that is the case, things will be very difficult. Su Yun, I really did not expect this matter to be so troublesome. If you feel that it is difficult, don't force yourself. I will do my best, but I cannot give you any guarantees. Su Yun understood Wan Guangxiao. Before Wan Guangxiao nodded, Su Yun would not say anything big. Once he made a promise, it would not be Su Yun's style if he could not fulfill it. Chapter 1006. Although Su Yun was hesitant at first, he eventually made up his mind. Kevin Matthew had helped him before. Even if it was difficult to ask Wan Guangxiao for help, he still had to think of a way. If it really didn't work, he could only apologize to Kevin Matthew. But before he tried, he really couldn't say that he couldn't do it. I'm afraid I have to go out for a while. Pigeon, Chong, after I leave, accompany Matthew to visit the scenic spots. Ma Sana only gave me a clue. I need some time to deal with this. Su Yun, Matthew, I will do my best. If I can't let you meet Chu Zigua, I will find a way to meet him. If you have any questions, you can tell me now. Kevin Matthew looked at Su Yun. For a long time, he didn't know what to say. He did have too many questions. Perhaps he could ask them himself, but he didn't know how to convey them to Su Yun. He shook his head and didn't ask any questions. I know you will do your best. I definitely will. Su Yun saw that Kevin Matthew didn't have any intention of answering, so he didn't ask any more questions. If he didn't want to say anything, then he had his reasons. There was no point in saying more. However, this did make Su Yun a little wary. Ma Saner's advice rang in Su Yun's ears again. Su Yun quickly dispelled his doubts and stood up. It had been a long time since he went back to the Dragon Brigade. It had been a while since the last time he went back. The feeling of going back for the second time was completely different from the first time. At least, Su Yun was sure that if he went back home, Wang Yi wouldn't have any objections. His brothers definitely wouldn't have any objections. If anyone had any objections, it would definitely be that zombie Wan Guangxiao. However, Su Yun went back this time to look for him. In any case, the person he had to face when he went back was Wan Guangxiao. Su Yun had nothing to hide. He relaxed and drove all the way to the Dragon Brigade. Of course, he had to familiarize himself with Chong's new Grand Cherokee. The Dragon Brigade was still the same as before. Recently, there was a lot of internal strife in Dongying. They didn't have time to think about the territory of the Jiaoyu Islands. Some of the violent terrorist incidents in the Jiangzhong region were also resolved not long ago. The leader of the violent terrorist group was obviously a guy with ulterior motives. He wanted to make a fortune by creating riots. He was forced to commit suicide by Qian Feng and the others. The people on duty at the door were Wind Dragon Xing Jie and Hidden Dragon Guan Liang of the Dragon Battle Special Forces. The two of them had met Su Yun when they were on a mission in Shenzhen. At that time, they were really impressed by Su Yun's kindness and magnanimity. They didn't dare to say too much, but at least in their hearts, Su Yun's position was second only to their flying dragon captain Yuan Qingdi. Leader Yan, why are you here? Xingzhe saw Su Yun poking his head out of the car. He was surprised and quickly ran out to open the door for Su Yun. After Su Yun slowly drove the car in, he smiled and said, "I came back to do something." "Is the chief here?" "The chief isn't here." "Don't worry. He's probably in a meeting and won't be back for a while," Xingzhe said. "The Brothers of Dragon's Fury must be missing you. You should go and catch up with them." Guan Liang was a little uncomfortable. It was against the rules to let an outsider in without permission. Although the outsider was Su Yun and it was fine even if Vice Captain Wang Yi saw it, if the chief found out, they would definitely be grounded. This was definitely not a joke. "It's okay." Xingzhe was quite relaxed. After all, it was Yen Long and Captain Su Yun. He had to give them face. Su Yun could see that Guan Liang was uncomfortable. He smiled slightly and said, "This time, I really came to find the chief for something. I know that you let me in is against the rules. Just say that I used the name of the chief and said that the chief asked me to come. When the time comes, I will explain to him that I did this alone. I will bear the responsibility alone." "Leader Yen, I didn't mean that." When Guan Liang heard Su Yun's words, he was a little embarrassed. After all, he was also a person who cared about his face. Xingzhe said straightforwardly, "Leader Yen, even if the chief finds out, the two of us will be grounded for 2 days at most. It's okay. We can just treat it as training our perseverance. It's just that you really came to find the chief? You're not joking with us, right?" "Of course not." Su Yun said, "I have something to ask of Wan Leader." Xingzhe said, "Oh, that's really unfortunate. Leader Yen, you can go in and wait. The chief's car just left less than 10 minutes ago." It was already good enough that Wan Guangxiao came to the Dragon Brigade once a day. After all, he really had a lot of things to do. As the manager of a special combat force in Huaxia, he still had to put half of his energy into other things. After all, his Dragon Brigade was just a chess piece in the special combat force. In addition to them, Huaxia's special ground combat force had the Saber-Tooth Brigade and so on. The Special Air Combat Force had the Sky Eagle Brigade and the White-Headed Eagle Brigade. The Special Naval Combat Force had the Saber-Tooth Shark Brigade and the Frogman Brigade and so on. All of their leaders were just soldiers in this big group. They were not leaders, and they also had their own tasks to do. "Then I'll go in first." "Thanks, brothers." Su Yun made a gesture of thanks with both hands and then drove into the depths of the Dragon Brigade. When Su Yun's car drove to the Dragon's Fury Special Forces, it was surrounded by people who came out as soon as it stopped. Because Hua Xiaolu's eyes were sharp, he saw that it was Su Yun in the car from a distance. It was a new car and didn't even have a windshield, so naturally, he could see more clearly. "Boss, why did you come in such a timely manner?" Qian Feng said, "Hurry up and teach us a few moves. The Dragon Brigade is going to fight with the Saber-Tooth Brigade tomorrow. The main force wants us to win, but in the past year, the Saber-Toothed Tiger's training intensity has increased a lot. I heard that there's a guy who suddenly became a genius at 30 years old. He broke through to the first level of the Grandmaster realm in one go. Su Yun was stunned. First level of the Grandmaster realm? That can't be. We're also very puzzled, Hua Leitang said. Hua Leitang also had a headache talking about this matter. The few captains of the Dragon God team have not reached the Grandmaster level, but the main team wants us to win the competition. We're almost out of breath under this pressure. Hurry up and enlighten us. Su Yun smiled bitterly. There was really no way to fight. One leader's desire to win was too big. After all, in the previous competitions, the Dragon Brigade's hands were sore from all the prizes. The sudden spread of such news this year was quite a blow to the few captains of the Divine Dragon Brigade. After all, the strongest among them hadn't reached the Grandmaster realm yet. Boss must have something to do here. You guys shouldn't add more pressure to him. Han Zhan understood people's hearts. He could see that Su Yun wouldn't go to the Dragon Brigade for no reason. There must be some trouble that needed to be dealt with. Boss, what's the matter? We'll help you if we can. I'm afraid you guys can't help. I need Captain Wan to help me solve a problem. Su Yun shrugged. That's why I'm here. Chapter 1007. Qian Feng was the first to grin and sigh. Boss, are you okay? Did you take the wrong medicine? It's not like you don't know what kind of person the head captain is. Once he gets angry, his head is filled with principles. He doesn't care about relationships at all. You coming to the team without permission is already a violation of the organization's rules. If you go and look for him, aren't you just asking to be slapped in the face? Yeah, boss, you have to think about this carefully. Han Zhan said seriously. Also, Captain Wan is under a lot of pressure these days. I think if you go and look for him rashly, you'll definitely be rejected. If he gets angry, he might really lock you up for 3 to 5 days. That wouldn't be worth it. Who knows, it might even delay your work. Su Yun also didn't want to put on a warm face to Wan Guangxiao's cold butt. Wan Guangxiao was famous in the military for being a man of principle. When Su Yun was expelled from the Dragon Brigade, it was also Wan Guangxiao's idea. Actually, at that time, if Wan Guangxiao had nodded his head and said something tactful, Su Yun would have been able to stay. After all, no one wanted to see a talent like Su Yun leave. Even the higher-ups didn't want that. But Wan Guangxiao didn't agree. He kept saying, nothing can be accomplished without rules. Because of that, Wang Yi reluctantly let Su Yun leave the place where he grew up and went to a small town like Hadong. Perhaps this was the turning point of a person's fate. If Su Yun didn't go to a small town like Hadong, he wouldn't have been forced by Scorpion to the point of exploding his inner demon. Su Yun might still be unable to break through because of his inner demon. If that was the case, if Su Yun stayed in the Dragon Brigade, he might have become the only trash who couldn't break through to become a super expert. Wang Yi's new training method allowed the members of the Dragon Brigade Special Forces to improve by leaps and bounds. Su Yun naturally saw this and felt gratified and excited for his brother's current strength. Their strength represented the strength of the country, because each of them was the sharp blade of the country, and could be said to be the nuclear weapon of the army. What are you guys talking about? Have you forgotten that there's a 200-kilometer weight-bearing cross-country run today? Hurry up and get ready, a delicate voice said. Although they were all soldiers in the Special Forces, the most basic training was still necessary. It was just that their training was more terrifying than that of ordinary soldiers. Ordinary people could barely stand after carrying 200 kilograms of weight, but they still had to run 200 kilometers. 200 kilometers was equivalent to running one round around the 6th Ring Road. But this time, no one complained because of the high-intensity physical training. They all looked at Yu Marin, who suddenly appeared, and consciously made way for Su Yun, who was in the middle. Su Yun was also puzzled. Yu Marin was a member of the medical team. Why would she participate in the Dragon Fury team's training? Yu Marin gasped and covered her mouth in shock. She couldn't believe that the person sitting in the middle of the crowd was actually Su Yun. Why was he here? When did he come? A bunch of questions filled the blushing girl's, no, the woman's mind. Then, the night she had with Su Yun appeared in her mind again. In just a few seconds, Yu Maren's face was completely red. Hua Xiaolu and Qian Feng were just about to take the lead to cheer when Yu Maren immediately glared at them. Pack up immediately and get ready to leave now. Vice Captain said that I'll give you extra meals today. If 200 kilometers isn't enough, add another 60 kilometers. Ah. They sighed helplessly. Even if they were a group of Special Forces soldiers, their bodies were made of flesh. This kind of high-intensity training would exhaust every drop of their physical strength. After hearing the complaints, Yu Maren firmly said, add another 60 kilograms of weight. The super-weighted cross-country run began. They ran on the crappy mountain roads. Yu Maren drove a military jeep and followed behind the crowd with Su Yun. From time to time, she would honk the horn to urge them to run faster. The cross-country car was already very bumpy on the mountain roads when it reached 60 kilometers per hour, but all the members of the Dragon Fury team maintained the same speed as the car. Fortunately, there weren't many people in the mountains. If ordinary people saw this, they would probably think that they saw aliens. This speed was too fast. Along the way, Su Yun's doubts were all solved by Yu Maren. Yu Maren wasn't their instructor. Instead, after Wang Yi increased the intensity of the training, there would be members of the Special Forces getting injured from the high-intensity training from time to time. Therefore, he let a few elites from the medical team enter the Special Forces to accompany them during the training in case they encountered any special situations and could be treated in time. Under Wang Yi's guidance, Yu Maren became Dragon Fury's demon instructor in less than a month. Because the brothers of the Dragon Fury team all knew of her relationship with Su Yun, they all gave her face. After all, the people of the Dragon Fury team were different from Chong and the Three Tigers of Nanqing. In their hearts, their first choice was definitely Yu Maren, not Wan Qingshuang. Because of Wang Yi's arrangement, Su Yun encountered the scene of Yu Maren leading the team to train. If it was in the past, Yu Maren would have asked for a veteran who had transferred to a civilian job to drive. But today, Su Yun appeared. In order to make it easier for her to talk, she personally drove. Wang Yi's move was ruthless. No wonder these guys improved so quickly. Su Yun clenched his fist. His body really had been neglected for a long time. Other than occasionally having time to run in the morning and meditate at night, Su Yun usually didn't have any high-intensity training. How are you now? Do you feel all right in all aspects of your body? Yu Maren blushed a little when talking to Su Yun. After all, their relationship was really awkward after some things happened. Su Yun nodded. It's all right. But compared to them, I really feel a little useless. I really should carry a few hundred kilograms and run with them. You can run now. There are backpacks in the car. Let each of them give you a few compressed weights. You'll definitely sweat from running. Yu Maren pursed her lips and smiled. If you really want to run, I'll ask them to stop and let them pack for you. I really want to go, but I want to chat with you. Su Yun grinned. Yu Maren's face had just returned to normal, but Su Yun's words made her blush to the bottom of her ears. She could only quickly change the topic. You said you came this time to find one leader. Did you encounter any problems? I really did encounter some problems. Su Yun didn't have anything to hide from Yu Maren. I want to see someone, but I can only see this person through one leader. So I had to be thick-skinned and come. Who is so important? Yu Maren was a little curious. Su Yun could only see someone through Wan Guangxiao. Could it be that he wanted to see a big shot in the country? Su Yun shrugged. A prisoner. But he's special. Without Wan Guangxiao's permission, no one can see him. So there's no other way. Phew, I don't know when the head captain will come back. If you're in a hurry, I can take you to see Wan leader. Yu Maren said with a serious expression. Su Yun was stunned, but then he came back to his senses. Really? Of course it's true. But it has to wait until I finish the special physical training with them. Yu Maren said, Wan leader's wife is now learning some simple acupuncture techniques from me. I go to their house every night to teach her. I'll take you directly tonight. Although Juan Leader is very busy during the day, he still takes care of his family at night. He can definitely be at home. Chapter 1008. Su Yun picked up the loudspeaker at the back of the car and skillfully flipped the switch with his thumb. He shouted at the top of his lungs, "You haven't eaten yet, right? You're dawdling like a sissy. You're here to train your fitness. Not for the spring outing. Last place won't get to eat tonight. Hurry up. Pick up the pace." When Su Yun shouted, all the members of the Dragon Fury team were shocked. Qian Feng and Hua Xiaolu, who were running at the back of the pack, looked like they had been injected with chicken blood. They hadn't felt this kind of feeling in a long time. When Su Yun was their instructor, it was common for him to abuse them. It was this kind of tone, this kind of excitement. Yu Meiren was shocked. "Are you going back to your old profession? You haven't disciplined anyone in a long time. Doesn't it feel good to teach them a lesson now?" Su Yun grinned. "To be honest, it feels pretty good. I can only go to Juan Leader's house with you earlier if they finish running faster. So, I can only wrong them." After a pause, Su Yun said, "Increase the speed to 70 miles per hour. These kids have a lot of potential. Only by stimulating them to death can we force out their potential. Even if they finish running early, we can only go after lunch." Yu Meiren didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "We can't just go to Juan Leader's house and freeload a meal, right?" Su Yun didn't think much of it. Since he had already shamelessly gone to Wan Guangxiao, why couldn't he be thick-skinned and freeload a meal from him? "You don't say. I'm just rushing to his house before lunchtime. No matter what, I've done a lot for the Dragon Brigade. It's only right for the chief to treat me to a meal." What he said was true. It wasn't a big deal for Su Yun to treat him to a meal. As the car sped up, the members of the Dragon Fury team also began to speed up. In the first half an hour, Su Yun's roars had indeed given them a boost of adrenaline. But after running at such a high intensity and speed for 50 kilometers, everyone began to feel the pressure. The limits of the human body were always broken when they couldn't hold on any longer. Only when they broke through at such a time could they improve. Su Yun understood his brothers. They weren't those delicate sissies. As long as they wanted to do something, there was nothing they couldn't do. Only Su Yun dared to reprimand them like this. Beauty Yu looked at them panting and couldn't help but feel worried for them. This high-intensity training could easily cause people to get injured. She had to be prepared for emergency treatment at any time. "Don't worry." Su Yun could see Yu Meiren's worry. He smiled and said, "I know my own people best. If they can't even withstand such a small increase in intensity, then they aren't Dragon's Fury members. I dare to bet you that until the end, there won't be a single person who can't complete the training." "You're that confident?" "Don't forget that I added 60 kilograms to their load. This weight is already the limit of their shoulders." Yu Meiren didn't think so. She was worried that her team members would get injured from the high-intensity training. Su Yun waved his hand and shouted into the loudspeaker again, "Look at your cowards. Slow. Too slow. Are you complaining that your load is too heavy? Are you complaining that Dr. Yu added more weight to your load? Let me tell you, Dr. Yu is too kind to you. That's why you're so pretentious. All of you, listen to me. Pick up a rock that's more than 20 kilograms and run with it. After you return to the army, weigh yourself. Whoever has the lightest weight will have no food to eat with the last person." Yu Meiren finally saw how Su Yun scolded people. No wonder her brother always said bad things about Su Yun in the beginning. It turned out that he was scolded by Su Yun like this. Thinking of her brother, Yu Meiren was no longer as sad as before. Time would heal all wounds and gradually make people forget the pain and pain. Su Yun also gradually walked out of the shadow of Yin Long's sacrifice. If you're the one who carries the lightest weight and runs the slowest, then you might as well not stay in Dragon's Fury. Although I'm no longer a member of Dragon's Fury, I also know that the Dragon Fury team will never need a sissy. Su Yun increased the intensity of his provocation. Obviously, he neglected a problem. Dragon's Fury really had a female soldier. Fan Shuang-er was gritting her teeth and persevering with the high-intensity training like the male soldiers. Obviously, her body had reached its limit. It was almost impossible for her to carry a rock that was more than 20 kilograms. After Yu Meiren thought of her brother, she quickly remembered that Yin Long was no longer her brother, but the girl Fan Shuang-er. She immediately reminded Su Yun of this matter. Su Yun slapped his thigh. Oh, how could he forget about this? When everyone stopped looking for rocks, Su Yun jumped out of the car and quickly ran to Fan Shuang-er. He asked in a low voice, "How is it? Can you bear it? If you can't, don't force yourself. You're a woman, after all." "So what if I'm a woman?" Fan Shuang-er was abnormally firm. "You just said that Dragon's Fury doesn't need a sissy. I want to prove that I'm not an ordinary woman. Otherwise, I don't deserve to continue staying in the Dragon Fury team." Fan Shuang-er's strength reminded Su Yun of the past Yin Long, the guy who still insisted on running cross-country with weights after being trained by him until the blisters on the soles of his feet were worn out. It was after that time that Yin Long became an absolute member of Su Yun's group. It was also after that time that Su Yun gave him respect. He also understood that Su Yun's training was for his own good. Su Yun didn't return to the car. Instead, he took a backpack from the car. He took out a few compressed weights from each member's backpack and picked up a rock that was at least 50 kilograms heavy. He took the lead and ran to the front. After being encouraged, everyone followed one after another. What else could Yu Meiren say? Perhaps this was the way the brothers encouraged each other. She restarted the car and followed behind everyone. 260 kilometers of weight-bearing cross-country running only took 4 hours. Even professional cross-country rally racers would need 3 hours to complete the 260 kilometers on such a crappy road, right? After returning to the starting point, everyone was paralyzed on the ground. Even though this group of guys had steel-like bones, their shoulders were still strangled and bleeding. The last one to arrive was obviously Fan Shuang-er. After all, she was a woman. Under this kind of extreme pressure, there was no way she could compete with a man. "Let's disperse. Everyone go take a shower and then gather in the cafeteria," Yu Meiren announced the order to disperse. "If anyone feels pain in their shoulders, I have some ointment here." "My shoulders hurt." Qian Feng rubbed his shoulders and walked forward. Su Yun glared at him. "You're a man. What's there to hurt about?" After saying that, Su Yun directly snatched the ointment from Yu Meiren's hands and stuffed it into Fan Shuang-er's pocket. Without waiting for Fan Shuang-er to speak, Su Yun grinned embarrassedly. "What I said doesn't count. I'm not your instructor or your captain. You can't really skip dinner tonight. It's not good if you don't replenish your energy in time after such high-intensity training." "Of course I'm not that stupid. I won't eat just because you say so." Fan Shuang-er was touched by Su Yun's action of stuffing the ointment into her hands. She revealed a smile and said, "Tonight I have my favorite dishes." "All right, now the meals have been upgraded. There are 8 dishes and 1 soup. Do you want to stay and try it together?" Chapter 1009. Although Su Yun had only increased the intensity by a little, it was still quite difficult for people who had broken through their limits. Everyone was half-dead tired. They just wanted to take a shower and have a good meal to prepare for the intensive training at night. Now, whether it was on TV or in novels, many people knew about the profession of the Special Forces. And Su Yun's Special Forces were the Special Forces of the Special Forces. The Special Forces were not the tall and mighty soldiers that people saw on TV. They were equipped with advanced equipment, their eyes were always bright, and their faces were deep. The Special Forces were also not the godly soldiers that people saw on TV, who could not be harmed at all no matter how many bullets rained down. The Special Forces were also not what people saw on TV. A group of beautiful women came and went as they pleased. In their free time, they could fall in love. They even had to look into the distance and say a classic line, "I love you." But compared to saving the world, what was love? It was insignificant. If Su Yun had not left the Dragon Brigade, he would not have these feelings. The training that people saw on TV was not even 1% of Su Yun's miserable training. Those who could carry more than 200 kilograms and run more than 200 kilometers were all elites who persevered. No one knew how many people died from running, and how many people did push-ups until they broke their waist and arms. Godly people were not born. It was not as simple as what people saw on TV. Su Yun and the others had received more rigorous training than any other adult since they were 3 to 5 years old. How many people could not bear it? Who could remember? On the battlefield, there were only two kinds of people, the dead and the living. On the battlefield, there were only killing and being killed. There were not so many emotions, and there was not so much nonsense. On the battlefield, there were only cruelty, deceit, and viciousness. There were only the most bloody and violent words that you could imagine. There were no emotions that were expressed by scholars or poets. The things that Su Yun and his brothers had done were things that ordinary people could not imagine. They had once snuck into the enemy's camp at the border and silently killed more than 500 people in one night. The enemy would never dare to show off at the border. They once had brothers who were captured. When they were rescued, their hands and feet were chopped off and their eyes were gouged out. They only said one sentence to them: "Brothers, be quick and give me a shot." They had once chased after an armed group that had entered the country for more than a month, until the other party was wailing and begging for mercy. There was an old general who once told Su Yun that he had only one thought when he fought with the Japanese during a breakout. That was to kill them. Charge out. There was also an old colonel who told Su Yun that when the sky above North Korea was covered by the U.S. military's firepower, he squatted in a cave and thought of only one word: live. Only when faced with the threat of death would a person's thoughts be so simple. No one knew that when Su Yun participated in an infiltration operation alone, he met an enemy special forces member who was also infiltrating in a narrow tunnel. When the two met, they did not even hesitate for a moment before they pulled out their daggers and fought hand to hand. Su Yun was lucky and cut the other party's throat in a few milliseconds. Otherwise, he would have died. Su Yun even forgot the feeling of the enemy's corpses all over the ground at the end of every mission. He also forgot that every time he took his brothers out, he made the most careful preparations and prepared for the worst. His will was always neatly placed on the folded quilt. "Let's go. You should wash off your sweat," Umaran said. "Even if you want to go to the main forces house to eat, you can't stink of sweat, right?" Stink. Su Yun was stunned. He pinched his collar and smelled it. "How is it stink?" "This is called the smell of a man." Umaran was really dumbfounded by Su Yun's words. The smell of a man? This guy was really... But then again, sometimes the smell of a man was really, well, a little charming, right? At least Umaran did not hate the smell of a man on Su Yun's body. Otherwise, she would not have brought Su Yun back to her dormitory to take a shower. When Su Yun took a shower, Umaran had already washed and dried his clothes and handed them to him. After all, she was a girl and did not have clothes for a man to change into. Fortunately, after entering the special forces as a team doctor, Umaran bought a dryer. Because she followed the team members out every day, even if she did not exercise, she was always sweaty. She liked to be dry, so she washed her clothes frequently. It was too late to dry them, so she bought a dryer. Now, it was time for Su Yun to come in handy. Su Yun put on the dry and fragrant clothes and was in a good mood. It was already 5:30 p.m., and the army's canteen was ready to eat. "I haven't seen old Wang for the whole afternoon. Where did he go?" Su Yun suddenly thought of a question. Umaran knew he was referring to Wang Yi. He should be busy. Tomorrow is an important day for all the special forces. All of them will come out to compete. I guess he is studying the strength of the opponent so that he can arrange countermeasures. Didn't they say that the opponent had a master who had broken through to the Guru realm? Any countermeasures would be useless. Unless they also had a master with the strength of a Guru realm master, there was no chance at all. Then I have no choice but to not greet him. Anyway, if I greet him, he probably won't let me bother the main force. Su Yun grinned. "Let's go and get a free meal." The management of the general military family courtyard was quite strict. After Yu Meiren took out the pass, the guard on duty opened the door and let her in. The car drove a few hundred meters inside, turned a corner, and arrived at Wan Guangxiao's home. Wan Guangxiao was a national hero. The house he lived in was neither big nor small. It was a two-story building with a small garden of less than 20 square meters. Some seasonal vegetables and fruits were planted in it. They should have been planted by Wan Guangxiao's wife. After all, she had already retired at this age. If it weren't for the need of the country, Wan Guangxiao would have also reached the age of retirement. Aunt Wan. Yu Meiren gently knocked on the door. Wan Guangxiao's wife, Wan Lan, quickly opened the door. When she saw Yu Meiren, Wan Lan warmly welcomed them into the house. Although she wasn't familiar with the young man behind Yu Meiren, the people Yu Meiren brought were definitely her own people. Aunt Wan, this is Su Yun. He is also from the Dragon Brigade. Yu Meiren didn't know how to introduce him, so she could only say this first. He has some matters to discuss with the chief, so he came with me. Wan Lan was much more amiable than Su Yun imagined. Oh, I see. Come on, sit down. I'll make tea for you. Aunt Wan, don't be busy. Is there anything we can help you with? We can help you with it. Yu Meiren hurriedly said. Wan Lan waved her hand. I don't have anything you can help me with. I'm learning how to make medicinal cuisine. Recently, Wan's health hasn't been very good. I want to use food to nourish his body. Aunt Wan, if it's this, I can really help. Su Yun rolled up his sleeves. I know a thing or two about medicinal cuisine. If Auntie Wan doesn't mind, I'll make a fool of myself here. Coincidentally, we haven't eaten yet. Hee, let's have a meal on the way. Yu Meiren didn't expect Su Yun to be so direct. She was a little embarrassed. Wan Lan didn't mind at all. That's great. Wan and I don't have much to eat. It's great that you guys can eat together. Su Yun, right? This young man is very capable. He even knows how to make medicinal cuisine. Little you, there aren't many young men like him nowadays. If you have the chance, you must seize it. Yu Meiren's face turned even redder. Chapter 10:10. As a guest, Wan Lan felt embarrassed that Su Yun was cooking in person. Although she had a lot of questions about acupuncture that she wanted to ask Yu Meiren, Wan Lan did not leave the kitchen because of her identity as the host. Fortunately, Yu Meiren was more sensible. She stayed in the kitchen with Wan Lan and helped Su Yun. Soon, Wan Lan realized that she had made the right choice to stay in the kitchen. Su Yun's skillful knife skills soon made her realize how much of a failure she was as a woman. She could not cut vegetables as well as a man. If it were not for Su Yun's lack of familiarity with the structure of the kitchen and where all kinds of oil, salt, sauce, and vinegar seasonings were placed, he would definitely be more skillful than he was now. Wan Lan soon put the matter of acupuncture behind her and began to ask Su Yun for advice on the cooking of medicinal cuisine. The dishes that Su Yun made were fragrant and did not have the smell of medicine at all. It was a world of difference compared to what she made. Did this guy graduate from the new Oriental Culinary School? He was so awesome. Aunt Wan, as long as you master the smell of medicine, you can be considered a master of medicinal cuisine. Su Yun said, this method is actually very simple. It's not difficult at all. As long as you remember the ratio of the seasonings and the Chinese medicine and the order of adding them, you'll soon master the trick. Wan Lan nodded in admiration. Xiao Su, can you help me write it down in a notebook? I'm old and my brain is always forgetful. Of course, it's no trouble at all. Su Yun knew that he had already convinced Wan Lan. Aunt Wan, I'll leave you my phone number. If there's anything you don't understand or don't know, just call me. I'll immediately help you solve the problem. I guarantee that you'll become a master chef in the medicinal cuisine industry in less than a month. Good, that's great. Wan Lan said, good, 3 times in a row. Her good impression of Su Yun instantly exploded. Young people nowadays were very impetuous, and Su Yun made Wan Lon feel that he was a particularly reliable young man. When Su Yun took a pen and paper to write down the menu and phone number for Wan Lon saw that Wan Guangxiao was not back yet, so she called him. Knowing that Wan Guangxiao was on his way home, she put all the dishes on the table with the help of Yu Meiren. About 10 minutes later, Su Yun finished writing the recipe, and Wan Guangxiao was sent back in a small car. Wan Guangxiao pushed the door and entered. His face instantly showed a look of surprise. "Oh, Wan, did you hire a chef today? The smell is different from before. It smells so good. I'm hungry just by smelling it." The couple's surname was Wan, and they both called each other Wan. Wan Lon said proudly, "Wan, look who's here." "Haha, Xiao Yu is here as a guest. She also brought the chef." Yu Meiren suddenly felt a little nervous. She wondered what Wan Guangxiao's expression would be when he saw Su Yun. She stood up and said helplessly, "Hello, Chief. Don't be so restrained. Make yourself at home." Wan Guangxiao's stiff face eased a lot when he arrived home. Since the chief said he didn't need to be restrained, Su Yun didn't need to be. He walked out of the dining room without waiting for an introduction. "Hello, Chief. It's me." Although Wan Guangxiao was Wan Guangxiao, he was still confused by Su Yun. Even if he had 3 brains, he couldn't figure out why Su Yun suddenly appeared in his house. However, Wan Guangxiao was Wan Guangxiao after all. After a moment of hesitation, he asked, "Why are you here?" Wan Lon glared at her husband. "Wan, how can you talk like that? You're the chief in the army, but now you're at home. He's a guest." Okay. It's my fault." Wan Guangxiao didn't know what to do with his wife. "I'm just curious. I don't have any other intentions. Let's eat first. We'll talk while we eat," Wan Lon ordered. If the dishes were cold, they wouldn't taste so good. After everyone sat down at the table, Wan Guangxiao took out a bottle of white wine soaked in various wolfberries and ginseng. He said to Su Yun, "Since you're at my house, there's no reason not to drink with me." "I drove. Does that count as a reason?" Su Yun grinned. Wan Guangxiao snorted and took out 2 wine glasses. "If this little bit of alcohol can make you faint, then you're not a soldier under me, Wan Guangxiao." Su Yun didn't stand on ceremony. Since the chief said so, how could he not drink? He immediately poured the wine for Wan Guangxiao and filled his own glass. If he drank too much later, he could ask Lin Gu to pick him up. Moreover, unless Wan Guangxiao was prepared to drink all the wine in the house, he probably wouldn't be able to make him drunk. "Come, let's drink as much as we want. This wine is brewed by my family. It's strong, but it's very fragrant. Wang Yi took 2 boxes of Wuliangye to exchange for a bottle of wine with me, but I couldn't bear to exchange it with him," Wan Guangxiao said seriously. Su Yun picked up the wine glass and touched Wan Guangxiao's glass with the rim of the glass. Then, he took a sip. "Damn. This is too strong." Su Yun really hadn't drunk such strong wine before. But when it entered his mouth, it was especially soft and smooth. The aftertaste was sweet and fragrant. Good wine, worthy of being called good wine. "How is it? This wine is good, right? But I can tell you, kid, don't drink too much. Even I can get drunk with this wine," Wan Guangxiao said. However, although he said so, after drinking a glass of wine, he still asked Su Yun to fill it up and drink with him. After the meal, the 2 drank 3 glasses each. After 3 glasses of strong wine, Su Yun already felt like he was surrounded by clouds and fog. This wine was really strong. No wonder Wan Guangxiao was reluctant to exchange wine with Wang Yi. Even if he drank 2 boxes of Wuliangye, he wouldn't have this feeling of being surrounded by clouds and fog. Yu Meiren diligently helped Wan Lon clean up the table, and then Wan Lon took her to ask about acupuncture alone. Wan Guangxiao and Su Yun stayed in the living room, watching TV and making a pot of tea. Neither of them said anything. They just stared at the TV screen and watched the military channel. Once the news mentioned Dongying's provocative behavior, Wan Guangxiao would scold them with a sullen face. Half an hour passed, and the military news came to an end. Wan Guangxiao drank a cup of tea and said lightly to Su Yun, "Kid, you're good. Your self-control is really good. Why are you looking for me? Is it so hard to say? If I don't ask you, are you really not going to say anything?" Su Yun smiled embarrassedly. "Chief, to be honest, I really can't say it. Otherwise, I would have told you long ago. You also know that I'm thin-skinned." "Well, it's thin-skinned enough." Wan Guangxiao laughed. "Chief, look, you're laughing at me again." Su Yun also grinned, amused by his own evaluation of himself. However, he quickly became serious. "Then if I say it, please don't fall out with me. Let's make it clear first." Wan Guangxiao was stunned. He half-jokingly said, "That depends on what you say to me. If you say that you want to take away all my wine, then I'll definitely fall out with you." "All right, say it. My soldiers aren't so wishy-washy. I'll give you this chance. If you don't say it, then forget it." "I want to see someone, but if I want to see this person, I can only go through you." When Su Yun heard this, he didn't hold back anymore and said bluntly. Wan Guangxiao was stunned. "Who?" Chapter 10-11. Time seemed to have stopped at that moment. Wan Guangxiao didn't say anything else. He looked at Su Yun calmly, as if trying to force Su Yun to back down with his gaze. Su Yun didn't have any intention of backing down. He met Wan Guangxiao's gaze and quietly waited for the answer that Wan Guangxiao was about to give him. "You." Wan Guangxiao finally opened his mouth. He wasn't angry. Instead, he was relatively calm. "How do you know about Chu Zigua?" Su Yun shrugged. "It's a long story. Commander, I know about Senior Chu Zigua's identity and have heard a little about him. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so thick-skinned as to come here to see you. Of course, I know that you won't agree, but I still want to give it a try. Indeed, if you want to see Chu Zigua, you'll have to go through me." Wan Guangxiao said, "You know that I won't agree to such a request, so why do you want to try? Su Yun, although you've left the Dragon Brigade, you're still a young man that I admire. It's not that I don't want to help you, but Chu Zigua is very special and is not allowed to visit him." "I understand." Su Yun nodded. "I was asked by someone to try my best to help a friend. Senior Chu might know something that he wants to know." "Your friend?" Wan Guangxiao was stunned. "That's even more impossible. I'm not even prepared to agree to it, and you want someone else to. All right, kid, let's not talk about this. I won't agree to it. It's useless to say anything more." Su Yun smiled slightly. Yes, Wan Guangxiao wasn't that easy to convince. "Commander, Chu Zigua was really, because he betrayed the country's secrets?" "What else?" Wan Guangxiao retorted. He let out a long sigh and looked a little sad. "Heaven is watching what we do. There was no impenetrable wall in the world. As long as something was done, it would not be hidden from everyone forever. Su Yun and Chu Zigua were the people I respected the most. He had sacrificed a lot for the country. Even if he had made a big mistake, he did not deserve to die. Everyone thought that he deserved to die, but I managed to convince everyone. Some things are hard to explain in a few words." As Su Yun listened to Wan Guangxiao's seemingly illogical words, he understood that Wan Guangxiao's heart must be filled with mixed feelings at this moment. "Chief, I won't disturb you anymore. I heard that there's something important tomorrow." Su Yun said calmly. "The saber-toothed tiger, white-headed eagle, sharp-toothed shark and other people from the Special Operations Group are all here. That means that the Dragon Brigade has drawn the home ground again this year?" When Wan Guangxiao mentioned this, his heart sank again. "Yes, it's the National Special Forces Elite Martial Arts competition that is held once every 10 years. I remember that during the last competition, you were still a 15-year-old kid. In the blink of an eye, another 10 years have passed. Yes, time passes too quickly." The difference between a Grandmaster Realm Expert and a Grandmaster Realm Expert wasn't as simple as the difference between a Grandmaster Realm Expert and a Grandmaster Realm Expert. The difference between a Grandmaster Realm Expert and a Grandmaster Realm Expert couldn't be mentioned in the same breath. It could be said that the saber-toothed tiger was determined to win this time. Everyone was starting to worry that the Dragon Brigade's trophy was finally going to be moved to another place. Because of this, Wan Guangxiao had been depressed for the entire day. If the saber-toothed tiger really won the trophy from Dragon Fury, it would probably be a knot in his heart for the rest of his life. Su Yun, have you heard? Have you heard that there is a master in the Grandmaster realm among the young people in the saber-toothed tiger special forces? Do you think we still have a chance to win? Wan Guangxiao said sullenly. Su Yun shrugged. Unless our Dragon Brigade also has a Grandmaster Realm Expert. Ha. Wan Guangxiao was a little helpless. The Dragon Brigade did have a Grandmaster Realm Expert, but after all, they weren't from the younger generation. If they were to show that, people would laugh at the Dragon Brigade for being a sore loser. It's a pity that none of the youths have broken through to the Grandmaster realm. This is really a tricky situation. Recommend me someone. Who do you think can do it? Su Yun stretched lazily. Chief, it's right in front of you. After saying this, Su Yun's body began to emit a faint aura of suppression. Wan Guangxiao, who was sitting on the sofa, was stunned. He really couldn't believe that Su Yun had silently become a Grandmaster Realm Expert in just a year after leaving the Dragon Brigade. Moreover, his aura of suppression was so intimidating. One had to know that when this kid was fired by him, he was still a cripple, who couldn't even break through to the Grandmaster realm because of his inner demons. They say that one day apart feels like 3 autumns. I haven't seen you for a year, but it feels like 30 autumns have passed. Wan Guangxiao exclaimed and slowly tested Su Yun's strength. Not bad, kid. You've already broken through to the 4th rank. Su Yun, listen up. Tomorrow, get your ass back to Dragon Fury and report for duty. What do you mean? Su Yun was stunned. Chief, I was fired by the Dragon Brigade. Chapter 10-12. Wan Guangxiao's sudden decision made Su Yun suspect that his ears were playing tricks on him. Su Yun didn't even dare to think about returning to the Dragon Brigade. Furthermore, Wan Guangxiao didn't show any mercy when he announced his departure, so Su Yun couldn't believe what he was hearing. What's wrong? You don't want to come back? Is it because life outside is too exciting? Too rich? You can't take your heart back after leaving. Wan Guangxiao looked at Su Yun's shocked expression and grinned. Compared to those worldly pleasures, the Dragon Fury team really doesn't make you feel nostalgic. Su Yun smiled bitterly. Sometimes, he felt that it was better to be direct than to beat around the bush, especially in front of a soldier. Sir, I admit that I did something wrong back then. Impulsiveness is just an excuse for my actions. If I could go back in time and make the choice again, I would still kill that scum. After a pause, Su Yun continued, I'm not asking for credit. I just want to say that no matter how difficult the situation was, Dragon Fury still completed its mission with flying colors. My brothers sacrificed their lives. I did what anyone would do in that situation, but I was punished and given a demerit. I was even persuaded to leave the army because I couldn't get rid of my inner demons. Sir, I know that Master tactfully told me to go out and recuperate. It was just a white lie so that I wouldn't feel pressured. The one who really can't tolerate me is you. Wan Guangxiao didn't avoid Su Yun's gaze. A bitter smile appeared on his face. Who could understand him? As the leader of the Dragon Brigade, there were too many things that he had to consider. Su Yun, do you really think so? Do you think that I, Wan Guangxiao, can't tolerate you? Sir, I didn't mean to offend you, Su Yun said. But that's the truth. Without your order, Master won't send me away. When he told me to leave, I understood that. Wan Guangxiao could only smile bitterly. In the Dragon Brigade, Su Yun wasn't the only one who thought that he was the bad guy, and Wang Yi was the good guy. And that was the truth. He was always the bad guy, while Wang Yi was always the one to appease everyone. Over time, he got the nickname Zombie Monster. But who knew how heavy the responsibility on his shoulders was? Su Yun continued, "Leader, to be honest, I really want to go back to the Dragon Brigade. That's my family's home. But I can't go back now. I'm sorry, but I have more responsibilities. I have more responsibilities. Where is my pride, my integrity? Where is my pride? Mice right, I. That's right, where was his integrity?" Su Yun said this with a straight back. Even though Wan Guangxiao was the leader, even though Wan Guangxiao was an expert in the profound earth realm, even though I, Su Yun, still wanted to ask something of you. But he still had to say what he had to say. He definitely wouldn't bow and scrape because of those hypocritical flattery. Wan Guangxiao admired Su Yun's temperament the most in the past. Wan Guangxiao had seen a lot of experts, and he had also seen a lot of geniuses. If Su Yun was only talented and hard-working, Wan Guangxiao wouldn't pay attention to him. It was because of Su Yun's leadership qualities that Wan Guangxiao had asked Wang Yi to give Su Yun more training. The Dragon Brigade had been established for more than 50 years. Every captain of the Dragon Fury team was carefully selected. They were all people who could achieve great things in the end. "Do you think that I'm a bastard?" Wan Guangxiao said to Su Yun. "Do you think that I always stand in front of you with the identity of a commander and never actually think for you? As a captain, to be like this today, I really don't know if I'm a success or a failure." Su Yun frowned. "How do you say this? Actually, you can try not to make people respect you so much. Make people respect you more and fear you less." "If I were Wang Yi, I might do that," Wan Guangxiao said. "But I'm not. I know that you might not understand me, but that's the truth. If you can sit in my position one day, you will understand what I mean." "Maybe. But I will never sit in your position." Su Yun smiled slightly. "Chief, regardless of whether you understand or not, no matter how much I want to return to the Dragon Fury team, I will not come and go at your beck and call." Wan Guangxiao sighed. "Yes, if I were you, I might think the same." "I understand you." "Thank you for your understanding, Chief." "Su Yun, but I also hope that you can understand me." Wan Guangxiao rarely smoked, especially at home. But suddenly, he took out a box of specially supplied cigarettes from the drawer under the coffee table. He took one out and handed the box to Su Yun. Su Yun took the box of cigarettes, but he had no intention of smoking. Instead, he casually placed it on the coffee table. Wan Guangxiao lit the cigarette and took a deep puff. Then, he slowly said, "Do you think I wanted you to leave back then? No. I just didn't want your inner demons to affect the others. You know best what kind of state you were in back then. Your inner demons almost swallowed you whole. If it wasn't for Wang Yi helping you with all his might, you would have become a cripple. Su Yun, if you only affected yourself, I would rather you be crippled in the Dragon Brigade than outside. But you didn't only affect yourself. Do you still remember the depression of the Dragon Fury team back then?" These words really made Su Yun lose face. His state back then had indeed caused the entire Dragon Fury team to be as depressed as a dead snake. There was no trace of the majesty of the Dragon God. "I have to admit that you are the captain and instructor who has the deepest influence on the members in the history of the Dragon's Fury Special Forces. Your positive and energetic influence is what I need, but your depressed and depraved influence is something I will never allow to exist." Wan Guangxiao said, "Because of you, I gave Wang Yi a month's time to recuperate. But after a month, not only did you not pull yourself together, your inner demons became even stronger." That was indeed the case. Su Yun admitted everything Wan Guangxiao said. You couldn't control it, and Wang Yi couldn't stop it. All the members of Dragon Fury Special Forces started to become as depressed as you. Wan Guangxiao said, "If you were in my position, how would you deal with it? Have you thought about it?" Su Yun really hadn't thought about it. He raised his head and smiled bitterly. "Su Yun, who didn't intend to smoke in the bureau chief's house, couldn't help but take out a cigarette and light it up. He took a deep puff and replied, "If I were you, I would never let a piece of rat poop spoil a pot of porridge." Wan Guangxiao was stunned. He didn't intend to use such an indecent analogy. "Bureau chief, I understand now." Su Yun shook his head helplessly. "To think that I always thought that my comprehension was quite high. It turns out that I'm only at this level. Bureau chief, I'm sorry." Chapter 1013. Fate seemed to be like this. If Su Yun continued to stay in the mystical Dragon Brigade and was unable to let his inner demons erupt, then he would really be crippled. However, the things that happened after he left the Dragon Brigade gave him a new lease of life. Life was always like this. Twists and turns would come unexpectedly, catching people off guard. Speaking of which, I should really thank you for your decision, Chief. Su Yun relaxed a lot, and a relaxed smile appeared on his face. If you hadn't ordered me to leave, I don't know what would have happened to me today. I was blaming you just now. Haha, actually, I should be thanking you. You really think so? You should be thanking me? Wan Guangxiao met Su Yun's gaze and asked. Su Yun was stunned. Chief, just say what you want to say. I already said it, but you rejected me. Wan Guangxiao said, I won't force you to return to the brigade, because you already have other responsibilities in society. I was the one who asked you to leave, and I don't have the right to ask you to drop everything and return to the Dragon Brigade to serve the country. However, I want to say that even if you're outside, you'll always be a member of the Dragon Brigade. Even if you're not here, you'll still be the captain of the Dragon Fury team, and the instructor of the Dragon Fury team. In the future, as long as you want to come, the Dragon Brigade's doors will open for you. Of course, if the Dragon Brigade needs you for any mission, you'll still have to fulfill your responsibilities. Su Yun almost stood up from the sofa in excitement. Chief, you're not joking with me, right? Of course not. Wan Guangxiao said, Now, even if you're outside, you're not the only member who will carry out missions for the brigade. Whether it's you or others, you'll need your own family, your own life. This is also the reason why the Dragon Brigade trains young people generation after generation. You mean, even if I'm outside in the future, I'll still be a member of the brigade? I won't even need to be bound by the discipline of the brigade? Su Yun really couldn't believe it. Wan Guangxiao nodded. Why? If you don't want to, I can take back what I said. Of course I'm willing. Su Yun said, If that's the case, I won't have to be sneaky when I return to the brigade. How many times did you sneak back? Wan Guangxiao said, I'll definitely investigate who's shielding you. I'll definitely lock them up and punish them severely. Otherwise, they'll be even more brazen in the future. Su Yun said proudly, Chief, if it's just confinement, it's useless. Based on our relationship in the team, even if we weren't brothers of the Dragon Fury team, they would still be willing to be grounded for 2 days to do me a favor. This is called face. No matter what, we still have a lot of face in the Dragon Fury team. Wan Guangxiao was speechless. This kid, he really didn't know if his decision was right or not. Chief, tomorrow's martial competition should be enough for you, right? Su Yun smiled slightly. I wonder who you're going to arrange to go up against the young man from the Saber-Tooth Brigade who broke through to the Grandmaster realm? Wan Guangxiao glared at him. Are you kidding me? Who do you think I'm going to arrange? Of course, I'm going to arrange for you. Otherwise, why do you think I was so happy that you had the strength you have now? Humph, you brat. You're already at the 4th level. Your breakthrough is really fast. Let me tell you, if you lose the trophy of the Decennial National Special Forces Elite Martial Arts Competition tomorrow, then don't blame me for firing you again. Don't. If I lose, I'll definitely take the initiative to fire you. Su Yun, if I lose this little bit of face, how can I go back to the team and face my brothers? Wan Guangxiao's mood was really good. Previously, he was still worried about who was the closest to the Grandmaster realm. Now, a guy at the 4th level of the Grandmaster realm had appeared. Not to mention the young man from the saber-toothed tiger. Even if they arranged for an old man to go up, the trophy in Wan Guangxiao's pocket would be in the bag. Su Yun, it's all up to you tomorrow. You must not lose the dignity of the Dragon Brigade, Wan Guangxiao ordered. Chief. Su Yun smiled slightly, revealing a harmless smile. There's something that I don't know if I should say. That, if I win, can you fulfill a request of mine? Su Yun's smile made Wan Guangxiao smell the smell of conspiracy. However, Wan Guangxiao actually said straightforwardly, I know what you want to say. You want me to take you to see Chu Zigua if you win. Chief is wise. Su Yun gave him a thumbs up. You can see what I'm thinking at a glance. Wan Guangxiao stared at Su Yun. Are you saying that I'm a roundworm in your stomach? No, absolutely not. Su Yun, I'm saying that you have sharp eyes. Boy, will I take you to see Chu Zigua or not? We'll talk about this after you keep the trophy for me. Wan Guangxiao paused for a moment, then added, also, don't think about your friend wanting to see Chu Zigua anymore. I will never agree. Su Yun shrugged. I understand. But if it's me who wants to see him, you won't refuse, right? That will depend on your performance. Wan Guangxiao smiled helplessly and shook his head. I'm not in the mood to think about other things right now. Unless that trophy can keep me in the Dragon Brigade, I won't think about anything else. Wan Guangxiao, this old fellow, was really something. This was already a matter that was in the bag, but he was still so worried. Okay, then I'll make a military pledge. Su Yun was, of course, confident. His confidence didn't come from blind arrogance. If his opponents knew that Hell King Leng Chan was killed by him, they probably wouldn't even think about fighting, right? At this moment, Wan Lon pulled Yu Meiren downstairs. It seemed that Yu Meiren had resolved many of her doubts. Wan Lon looked very satisfied. Chief, Aunt Wan, it's getting late. We'll take our leave first. Su Yun saw that there was nothing else, so he stood up and said. Wan Guangxiao chuckled. It's fine to sit down and drink some tea. Are you afraid that I'll go back on my word? Can I tell you the truth? Su Yun grinned. I'm really afraid that you'll go back on your word. Brat, why are you still like this? Wan Guangxiao didn't seem like the zombie he used to be today. If Su Yun went back and told his brothers that Wan Guangxiao was always smiling at home, no one would believe it. Although Yu Meiren didn't know what they talked about, it seemed like Wan leader had agreed to what Su Yun wanted to do. Otherwise, Su Yun wouldn't be in such a good mood. They stayed for a pot of tea and talked about some international tensions. Soon, it was 21 o'clock. Yu Meiren looked at her watch a few times. She wanted to say something but stopped. Su Yun saw that it was getting late, so he said goodbye again. Chief, we really should go. It's getting late. I still have to go back to the brigade and apply for a dormitory. That's true. Wan Guangxiao nodded. Then I won't force you to stay. Be careful on the road. Beauty Yu was confused. Tidy up the dormitory? Was Su Yun going to spend the night in the brigade? On the way back, Su Yun briefly told her that Wan Guangxiao allowed him to return to the Dragon Brigade. Yu Meiren was so happy that she danced in the car. Today was like a dream. Chapter 10-14. After returning to the Dragon Fury Brigade, Han Zhan was the only one on duty at the entrance. When he saw Yu Meiren and Su Yun return, Han Zhan hurriedly opened the door to greet them. Black Dragon, let me tell you some good news. Su Yun will be back in the future. The head captain has allowed him to return to the Dragon Fury team again. As soon as Yu Meiren opened the car door, she couldn't help but share the good news with Han Zhan. She had been holding it in for a long time. She had been wanting to see someone quickly so that she could share the good news with them and make everyone happy. Han Zhan's face was filled with surprise and excitement. This news came too suddenly. What was wrong with the head captain? He was the one who insisted on Su Yun leaving back then. Now, He was the one who allowed Su Yun to return. Could it be that Yu Meiren had given the head captain some kind of bewitching potion? Was that why he invited Su Yun back in a daze? Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell everyone the news. Yu Meiren's excitement was still hard to suppress. She needed more people to share this joy and excitement with. There's no one in the brigade right now. Han Zhan said. When Shizhuan came back from the meeting today, it was as if he had been stimulated. He said that among the young people in the saber-toothed tiger brigade, there were masters of the supreme power realm, but he didn't train any of them. It was because he was usually too gentle with us that we were so useless. I've never seen Master so angry before. He must have expected better from us. An hour ago, he gathered everyone and brought them out for a night training. He also said that no one can come back standing before midnight. If they don't tire themselves to the point that they have to crawl back, he'll write his surname backwards in the future. Su Yun was speechless. Wang Yi's surname was Wang. Even if he wrote his surname backwards, wouldn't he still be Wang? Everyone went? You're the only one left? Yu Meiren asked with wide eyes. Yes. Han Zhan nodded. There has to be someone to look after the house. I don't know why Shizhuan chose me to stay here and look after the house. Alas, tomorrow is the martial arts competition. If all of you are exhausted tonight, it will be troublesome for the competition tomorrow afternoon. Yu Meiren suddenly understood. Looks like the vice captain wants you to go out tomorrow to deal with the expert saber-toothed tiger. This strength is definitely not. Han Zhan suddenly glared at Su Yun. He took a step forward and hugged Su Yun. Boss, look at my brain. Aren't you back now? With you around, we don't have to be afraid of that saber-toothed tiger brat. Tomorrow, he must torture this brat to death. Let the saber-tooth brigade brag in front of us. Even our Shizhuan, who has such a good temper, got so angry. I really don't know what the saber-toothed tiger brat said. Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You guys are just waiting for me to come and save you, right? Boss, you can't say that. Once a member of Dragon's Fury, forever a member of Dragon's Fury. When we die, we're all ghosts of Dragon's Fury. That's what you taught us. Han Zhan said, even if the main force doesn't let you return, the saber-toothed tiger is stepping on our heads and shitting on us. How can we tolerate it? Although winning the trophy is the glory of the entire Dragon Brigade, believe it, all the previous championships were won by Dragon's Fury. If we lose this time, outsiders will only say that Dragon's Fury didn't have the ability to protect its glory. Don't be so agitated. Su Yun has already agreed to join the main force, Yu Meiren said to the agitated Han Zhan. Han Zhan was definitely agitated. If he had known earlier, Shizhuan wouldn't have brought them for special training in the middle of the night. Seeing how fierce she was today, Shizhuan was probably going to train them half to death before coming back. Boss, I'm afraid we won't be able to arrange a place to stay for today. Han Zhan scratched his head. Where could he find someone to arrange a place for them now? Yu Meiren didn't think too much about it. If there's no other way, let Su Yun stay at my place for the night. Anyway, you don't know how long you'll train for. Staying at my place won't disturb his rest. That way, he'll have the energy to fight tomorrow. In order to protect the glory of the Dragon Brigade, let him sleep well. Go there again, Su Yun said. The word again made Yu Meiren blush. That's a good idea. Han Zhan nodded. Boss, you should stay at Dr. Yu's place today. Otherwise, you won't be able to sleep well. When Shizhuan brings our brothers back in the middle of the night, they'll probably be curious and talk to you all night. That'll be a waste of your energy. Yu Meiren blushed and said, if that's the case, everyone's energy won't be good. It'll damage the morale of the Dragon Brigade tomorrow. Yes, yes, yes. Han Zhan nodded. Su Yun was also willing to stay at Yu Meiren's place. He didn't intend to refuse in the first place. He turned to look at Yu Meiren. I don't mind at all. I'm just worried that it'll affect your rest. I'm not going to participate in the competition. It's fine. I have a sofa in my room. Yu Maren was still blushing. She couldn't say that her bed was big and it was fine for the two of them to squeeze in. Han Zhan continued to be on duty at the door, but he was in a good mood. He was waiting for his brothers to come back from their training so that he could quickly tell them the good news. Even Shizhu and Wang Yi didn't know about this. Wang Yi's jaw would probably drop when he heard the news. Su Yun didn't feel uncomfortable when he arrived at Yu Maren's room. On the other hand, Yu Maren felt more and more uncomfortable. She poured a glass of water for Su Yun. Go take a bath first. I'll give you a massage to relax your body after you're done. Then, you can rest early. I've been noticing that you've been rubbing your left shoulder. Are you injured? I'm not injured. Maybe I caught a cold. Su Yun raised his hand and unintentionally rubbed his left shoulder. The sauna weather was simply inhumane. It was so hot that even breathing would cause him to sweat. If the air conditioner blew for too long, his shoulder naturally wouldn't be able to take it. That was why Su Yun felt a little sore in his shoulder. Then hurry up and take a bath. I'll give you a massage later. Yu Maren brought a towel for Su Yun and urged him to hurry up. Su Yun chuckled. It really felt like a wife urging her husband, who had just returned from playing basketball, to go to the bathroom. Su Yun took the towel, thanked her, and quickly went to the bathroom to take a shower. Yu Maren took very good care of him. When Su Yun started to take a shower, Yu Maren silently took his clothes and washed and dried them for him. She made sure that Su Yun would feel comfortable wearing them. There was no red wine or champagne in the military dormitory. If he could drink a glass in this kind of atmosphere, it would definitely be a romantic thing. Perhaps Su Yun was really tired after being busy for the past few days. When Yu Maren went to take a shower, he lay on the bed and fell into a daze. When he woke up after a short rest, he realized that he was lying on the bed. Yu Maren bent her knees and collapsed on top of him. She was using a very professional technique to massage his shoulders. It was so comfortable. If life could be like this every day, what regrets would there be? Although Yu Maren was very careful, there would still be occasional body contact. Moreover, her pajamas were relatively cool after her shower, so it was inevitable. But fortunately, Su Yun fell asleep again because of the comfort. He was not in the mood to feel those little heartbeats. Yu Maren was the only one who was blushing because of these little heartbeats. Even if Su Yun fell asleep, she would still feel her face blush. Chapter 10:15. Su Yun's sleep was really comfortable. Yu Maren's control of the acupoints was precise, and the strength was moderate, so the effect of the massage was very obvious. After being relaxed, Su Yun naturally rested well. When he opened his eyes, a wave of energy entered his body. Even the air in a girl's boudoir was refreshing. The sound of keys came from outside the door, and then the door was opened. Yu Maren was holding some breakfast from the cafeteria. Seeing that Su Yun had already woken up, she put the food on the table and smiled. Did you rest well last night? Pretty good. Your medical team's place is still the best. I didn't even hear the wake-up whistle in the morning. Su Yun stretched. Why did you take the breakfast back? Wouldn't it be better if we went directly to the cafeteria to eat? I don't even have to wash the dishes. If you really went, then you'll regret it. Yu Maren shook her head helplessly. Black Dragon's big mouth, I really don't know how he spread the news yesterday. When I arrived at the cafeteria, I was surrounded by Dragon's Fury people. They all asked me where I hid you. If you didn't tell them personally that the head captain allowed you to return to the team, none of them would believe it. Su Yun's mouth twitched. Don't tell me that they already know that I came back to sleep with you last night? I only gave you the bed. I slept on the sofa. Yu Maren's face was already red. Naive girl, you said that you only gave me the bed to sleep on, and that's the truth, but have you ever thought about how those guys would believe it? They all followed me to the dormitory downstairs. Yu Maren shook her head helplessly. Hurry up and eat your breakfast and take them away. Otherwise, others will think that I caused some trouble. If I had known, I wouldn't have slept in my own dormitory yesterday. Su Yun smiled bitterly. If he had known, he wouldn't have slept here. Su Yun quickly finished his breakfast, and Yu Meiren urged him to quickly go down and take them away. Otherwise, it wouldn't look good if Vice Captain Wang Yi found out. As expected, when Su Yun arrived at the dormitory, Qian Feng and Hua Xiaolu started winking and whistling. Attention! Su Yun pulled a long face. Since the main team allowed him to return to the team, then he had the right to order this group of brats around. Hearing Su Yun's order, everyone quickly stood at attention. Turn back! Let's run! Su Yun's orders were absolute. He took the lead and ran towards Dragon's Fury's camp. Originally, the most exciting news for the Dragon Brigade today should have been another one. All the representatives from the Special Operations Group would be coming to the Dragon Brigade to participate in the once-in-a-decade Special Forces Elite Combat Tournament. But now, Su Yun's return to the team had taken over the headlines. Whether it was the Dragon Prestige or the Dragon Battle Special Forces, the first thing everyone said when they met in every camp and training ground was, "Did you know? Dragon's Fury's instructor, Captain Yen Long, has returned to the team." It was approved by the head captain. Although this news didn't spread as fast as the internet, in a place as small as the Dragon Brigade, it quickly spread to every corner. Wang Yi was undoubtedly the most gratified person out of everyone. Because Su Yun, the person he was most proud of and highly regarded, had returned. And he appeared in a brand new form. He didn't become a useless person just because he left the Dragon Brigade. After going through so many trials and tribulations, he grew up and returned to the Dragon's Den with glory. Wang Yi knew better than Wan Guangxiao why he came back. Although Su Yun had explained to him that he had promised Wan Guangxiao to come back and win the tournament, then let Wan Guangxiao take him to see Chu Zigua. But Wang Yi knew that even if Wan Guangxiao didn't agree to take him to see Chu Zigua, as long as he allowed him to return to the team, Su Yun would still come back to participate in the tournament without hesitation. Because Su Yun would always be the soul of this year's Dragon Fury team. He belonged to the Dragon Brigade, forever. He would never allow anyone to take away the glory of the Dragon Brigade on Dragon Brigade's territory. The people of Dragon's Fury would never allow anyone to do that. Even if the Saber-Tooth Brigade were full of confidence this time, Su Yun would mercilessly shatter their dreams. Protecting the glory of the Dragon Brigade was like a mission. It was something that a soldier had to complete 100% of the time. Even if he had to pay a high price, Su Yun would definitely protect the glory of the Dragon Brigade and protect the reputation of the Dragon Fury team. You said that your friend wants to see Chu Zigua? Who is your friend? Wang Yi calmly asked this question. He believed that Wan Guangxiao definitely didn't ask this question because Wan Guangxiao didn't intend to let Su Yun's so-called friend meet Chu Zigua. You might not believe me, Su Yun said, Kevin Matthew. Wang Yi was stunned at first, then he raised his eyebrows and asked, which Kevin Matthew? The one you're thinking of, Su Yun said. Wang Yi almost choked on his tea. Are you crazy? Are you kidding me? Kevin Matthew wants to see Chu Zigua? Brat, do you know who Kevin Matthew is? He's a living treasure that the Americans wouldn't bear to let go no matter what. I can swear that the Americans would never allow Kevin Matthew to go to Huaxia. You can't imagine how many secret agents are following him. Su Yun knew that Wang Yi would say this. He scratched his head and said, if I said that I was smuggled into Huaxia on the same boat as Kevin Matthew, would you believe me? You. Wang Yi's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Are you really not joking with me? Brat, I'll ask you one last time. If anyone jokes, someone will piss on their ancestors' graves. Su Yun said, I've already made such a vicious oath, and you still don't believe me. Wang Yi took a deep breath. This news was too sudden. It was so sudden that he couldn't accept it. Kevin Matthew is actually in Huaxia. You brat, you're really crazy. Su Yun, no matter where Kevin Matthew is, I hope you can bring him over. It's very dangerous for him to be outside. Let's not, Su Yun said. With his identity, it's not necessarily safe for him to appear here. Master, I'm only telling you this because I trust you. I didn't even dare to talk about this with Wan leader. I was afraid that he would bring people to catch him last night. Catch what? We can't ask for such a talent. Wang Yi said, Su Yun, you have to think carefully. Su Yun said, don't worry, my people will take good care of him. Everything will have to wait until I protect our honor first. Moreover, if the chief knows that it's Kevin Matthew, he might be allowed to see Chu Zigua, right? If he allows it, I'll go and bring him over. He will definitely allow it. As long as Kevin Matthew agrees to stay in Huaxia and serve the country. Wang Yi said seriously. I can't guarantee that. Su Yun shook his head. But I still don't understand. He and Chu Zigua aren't from the same generation. There's a gap of 10 to 20 generations. How can they be related? Wang Yi was puzzled. They aren't related. But Chu Zigua might be related to his father. Su Yun said, Master, it's getting late. It's already 10 o'clock. The Saber-Tooth Brigade will probably be here soon. Aren't you going to prepare to welcome them? We have to do our part as hosts, right? Chapter 10:16. Wang Yi wasn't usually that serious, but when it came to collective honor, he was still quite concerned. The Saber-Tooth Brigade and the other Special Operations Group didn't come to the Dragon Brigade with good intentions. They were determined to snatch away the championship honor. For such a guest, Wang Yi would not greet him with a warm face. In Wang Yi's words, he had already given them a lot of face by not letting the members of the Mystical Dragon Brigade stick out their butts and give them a show of strength at the door. It was absolutely impossible for him to go out and welcome guests. And even if he wanted to be hospitable, the Wan leader wouldn't agree. Could the Dragon Brigade lower themselves? Of course not. This was the innate sense of honor, the innate desire to win, and the innate drive of a soldier. What was theirs was theirs. The Mystical Dragon Brigade would never let go of the honor that belonged to the collective. It was just like how soldiers guarded our country's territorial waters and airspace. They would never let anyone snatch it away. Even though this analogy was a little exaggerated, it was the truth. The championship trophy had always belonged to the Dragon Brigade, just like how Turtle Island originally belonged to Huaxia. The Japanese had thought of all sorts of ways to snatch Turtle Island away from Huaxia, but it was impossible. If they dared to snatch it away, they would have to ask the Dragon Brigade first. This analogy was deeply ingrained in the hearts of everyone in the Dragon Brigade. Therefore, at this moment, they had already regarded the brigades that came to snatch the championship as Japanese. Naturally, word would spread. The Saber-Tooth Brigade's head captain Yun Kwangkuk wasn't happy after hearing this. Since they dared to compare them to Japanese, he had to snatch the championship trophy that belonged to the Dragon Brigade. The Dragon Brigade shouldn't think that they were the best special forces in Huaxia just because they set up camp in Yanjing. The saber-toothed tiger wasn't to be trifled with. The saber-toothed tiger was definitely not weaker than the Dragon Brigade. This was Yun Kwangkuk's thoughts. He believed that his favorite general, Zhang Bai, could definitely win against any young Special Forces member in the Dragon Brigade. Yun Kwangkuk was especially proud of the young talent under his command, Zhang Bai. After arriving at the Dragon Brigade, he straightened his back as soon as he got out of the car. Zhang Bai and two other strong soldiers stood behind him with their hands behind their backs. In their words, the people of the saber-toothed tiger were indomitable wherever they went. Because Yun Kwangkuk had a young Special Forces member who had broken through to the Grandmaster realm, the other head captains of the Special Forces were somewhat lacking in confidence. For example, Hua Fei of the Sky Eagle and Wei Lan Tian of the White-Headed Eagle. They were the two Air Force Special Operations Group. Although the strong soldiers under their command were not to be trifled with, they knew that their subordinates, Kong Duan and Murong Bai, were still far from the Grandmaster realm. They didn't have the ability to fight with Yun Kwangkuk's men. They were afraid that they wouldn't be able to win the honor. However, they also felt that this trip was worthwhile. At least, they could let their soldiers see the legendary figure, the Manchurian Tiger, Zhang Bai. Lu Yenshan of the Sharp-Toothed Shark Brigade and Qi Tianda of the Frogman Brigade also understood that this time, the Marine Special Forces couldn't participate in the fight for the honor. Whether it was Lu Yenshan's great white shark Yang Wuzi or Qi Tianda's water ghost Zhang Tian, they had only broken through to the second stage of the super expert realm. They probably wouldn't be able to compete with the Dragon Brigade. Chief, that kid is Zhang Bai, right? Murong Bai, also known as Fierce Eagle, asked Wei Lontian in a low voice. Since he was called Fierce Eagle, his temper was naturally very fierce. When he got out of the car and saw the arrogant look of the saber-toothed tiger's men, he was a little angry. Of course, Wei Lontian was also unhappy. The Dragon Brigade didn't have anyone to welcome them, and the Saber-Tooth Brigade's men were so arrogant. Their land special forces really didn't pay attention to etiquette. But after all, he was the head captain of the White-Headed Eagle Brigade. He wouldn't let his men mess around. If you have a temper, then save it for the martial arts competition in the afternoon. Take down that kid in the arena. That's what I call your ability. Murong Bai's eyes still didn't leave Zhang Bai. But since the head captain had spoken, of course, he wouldn't have any objections. It seemed that the murderous look in Murong Bai's eyes was too obvious. Zhang Bai, who was standing not far away, felt it and turned his head. The two people's eyes faced each other, and in an instant, there were sparks that were like lightning strikes. Chief. Zhang Bai was a man from the northeast. His temper was quite characteristic of the people from the northeast. Just a glance was enough to stir up his emotions. Can I take care of that kid from the White-Headed Eagle Brigade now? Seeing him stare at me like that makes me unhappy. Yin Guoqiang liked the strength of his subordinates. He came here today to let the Manchurian tiger, Zhang Bai, show the strength of the saber-toothed tigers. Why not? But before Yin Guoqiang could agree to let Zhang Bai have a temper, a figure strode over. Brother Yin, this is Wan's territory. Hua Fei knew Yin Guoqiang too well. When he was young, the Sky Eagle Brigade had a cooperation mission with the saber-toothed tiger. At that time, he was arranged to cooperate in the battle, and the saber-toothed tiger's team leader was Yin Guoqiang. Therefore, he could understand Yin Guoqiang's meaning with just a glance. Obviously, Hua Fei's words were to remind Yin Guoqiang not to indulge his subordinates. Yin Guoqiang was a carefree northeast person. It was very possible for him to indulge his subordinates to do things that were out of line. Everyone was well aware of his temper. Aya, old brother Hua, my Yin Guoqiang subordinates are all very well behaved. Yin Guoqiang's words dispelled Zhang Bai's thoughts. Hua Fei's words eased the storm that was about to erupt. He smiled slightly and said, "Of course. Everyone knows that Guoqiang is good at leading his troops. He, it seems like you are determined to win the championship trophy this time." "Of course." Yin Guoqiang said, "After so many years, the championship trophy of the elite martial arts tournament hasn't been moved. I'm afraid I've had enough. It's time to go somewhere else to breathe some fresh air." Very confident. Ha ha ha. Lu Yenshan also joined the conversation. After Lu Yenshan joined the conversation, Qi Tianda and Wei Lontian also joined the conversation between the leaders. The few Special Forces members that they brought with them didn't gather together. They continued to chat with their teammates. They weren't as magnanimous as their leaders. Those people who were not far from them could be their opponents. In the afternoon's elite martial arts tournament, no one would show mercy to anyone. What do you guys think is the meaning of Wan and Wang Yi's actions? It's fine if they don't have a welcoming ceremony, but they should at least come out to welcome us. Are they just going to leave us hanging in front of the building? Yin Guoqiang said, "This is a bit too much. Haven't Wan and Wang Yi always been like this? They are telling us that this is their territory." Wei Lontian said, "Other than enduring it, what else can we do?" While they were talking, Wang Yi finally appeared. He would give them the cold shoulder for a while, but he definitely wouldn't do it all the time. After all, they were at a higher level than him. 5 minutes was enough. If he gave them the cold shoulder for too long, Wang Yi would blame him for going overboard. Chapter 1017. Brother Wang Yi, you're making fun of us again. We've already told you in advance that we're coming. Hua Fei laughed and said, even if you don't have a guard of honor, you should at least arrange for a few young men to come out and salute us. Ha ha ha, but this is really the style of your dragon brigade. Ha ha ha, Wan really imparted everything to you. Brothers, don't you think Wan is too pretentious? We're already downstairs, but he's not coming down to receive us? He's looking down on us. Is it because we didn't bring any local specialties when we visited? Lu Yenshan chimed in and laughed. Yes, yes. I really should go down to the sea to catch a few abalones for Wan to nourish his body and beautify his face. Ha ha ha. But you have local specialties. We can't possibly catch a few birds from the sky for Wan to go with his wine, right? Wei Lan Tian shook his head and said, nowadays, people are advocating for the protection of wild animals. If Wan doesn't mind, I can go back to my hometown and catch a few pheasants for him. But this time, we really don't have any local specialties. Wan isn't the kind of person who won't come downstairs just because of some local specialties, right? Ha ha, you must be joking. Captain Wan still has some matters to attend to, so he's not here yet. Wang Yi smiled and said, I'll entertain you guys this afternoon, but Captain Wan will definitely be here for the martial arts competition in the afternoon. Yin Guoqiang suddenly laughed confidently and said, I thought Wan said he had something to attend to because he didn't dare to attend the martial arts competition in the afternoon. Haha, thinking about it, it's true. I'm afraid no one would be willing to give up their honor, right? We all know Wan's temper. He'll definitely be heartbroken. If I were him, I'd be more straightforward and not attend the competition. This confidence definitely provoked Wang Yi. How could Wang Yi swallow this anger? Chief, isn't it a little too early to say this? Heh. The champion's trophy has been in our Dragon Brigade's possession for 50 years. I'm afraid it's already used to the environment here. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, there were people who wanted to take him away, but in the end, he still stayed in the Dragon Brigade, didn't he? Oh, I forgot. I heard that you were the one who wanted to take the trophy away 40 years ago. Unfortunately, Captain Wan didn't get what you wanted. Wang Yi, are you trying to bring up old scores again? Yin Guoqiang said, then let's settle the old and new scores today. Her. The championship trophy has always been won by your Dragon Brigade. But this time, I'm going to make it clear. I'm going to get this trophy today. Don't try to snatch it from me. Anyone who tries to snatch it from me is asking for trouble. Guoqiang, you're really overconfident. Qi Tianda smiled, but he had to admit that Guoqiang had the right to be confident. If Water Ghost Zhang Tian also had the strength of a grandmaster, then he would be the arrogant one here today. This didn't mean that those who were weak were useless. Whether it was Fierce Eagle Morong Bai and Red-Bellied Eagle Kong Duan from the Air Force Special Forces, or Great White Shark Yang Wuzi and Water Ghost Zhang Tian from the Marine Special Forces, they were all heroes with many military achievements and medals. Of course, the Amur Tiger Zhang Bai was the same. All the members of the Special Forces who were able to come here today were all people who had participated in S-rank special combat missions. Although it wasn't to the extent that they had saved the world and China, if it wasn't for their blood and sweat, perhaps many people would have been in a terrible situation. Every one of them was a good person. Every one of them was a tough guy with unyielding bones. The Special Forces Elite Martial Arts Competition, which was held once every 10 years, had already said that they were elites. Then, those who could participate in this competition were all elites in the military, the kings of soldiers. The fact that the few chiefs cared so much about this championship trophy showed how important it was to them. The Special Operations Group, Hua Xia, didn't only have a few troops. However, only the Special Operations Group could be called the sharp blade of the country. Although the Special Operations Group were all sharp blades, they still had to be divided into the sharp blade on the tip and the sharp blade on the handle, right? Who didn't want to be the sharpest blade on the tip of the blade? Obviously, whoever could win this trophy would be the sharp blade on the tip of the blade. The Sharp Blade Dragon Brigade had been in the Sharp Blade Dragon Brigade for 50 years. It was said that the Wheel of Fortune changed 30 years in the east and 30 years in the west. If the saber-toothed tiger didn't win the honor of being the sharp blade of the blade this time, then he would have to wait another 10 years. 10 years later, Yin Guoqiang might not even be able to be the saber-toothed tiger, so he couldn't wait any longer. Chief, you can take whatever you want from the Dragon Brigade. The only thing you can't take away is this championship trophy. Wang Yi had Su Yun's support, so he wasn't afraid of Yin Guoqiang. You have grandmasters, but so do I in my brigade. When the martial arts competition starts in the afternoon, Yin Guoqiang would feel like crying, but no tears would come out. No, I'm not here to take it, Yin Guoqiang said. Wang Yi, you make it sound like I'm asking for it. Ha, I'm not asking for it. I'm using my fists to fight for the honor that belongs to me. Wang Yi wasn't afraid of arguing with Yin Guoqiang. Since the chief has said so, then I, Wang Yi, will also say something big in front of the other chiefs. When it comes to fists, the Dragon Brigade soldiers have never been afraid of anyone. We will also use our fists to protect the honor that belongs to us. You've got guts. Let's wait and see this afternoon. Yin Guoqiang's confidence had reached its peak. Ha, all right. We'll see in the afternoon. Qi Tianda, who knew that he was weaker, stood up and said, Wan said that he would treat us well at the Dragon Brigade today. Wang Yi, how are we going to eat lunch? You must have already prepared this, right? Wang Yi quickly regained his smile and said, Of course. Captain Wan told me that some of the chiefs don't eat pork. That's why I asked someone to go to the mountains and buy 2 green goats. Let's try the Dragon Brigade's best all-goat feast for lunch. Io, where did you find these cooks? An all-goat feast isn't simple. Hua Fei, who didn't eat pork, said, The dishes in the all-goat feast don't have names. They're all Dragon Gate horn, Ganoderma lucidum, Shuang Feng Chui. One goat can make dozens of different dishes. Fried, roasted, stewed, braised, simmered, stir-fried. It's mellow but not greasy. The taste is beautiful and the shape is strange. Old Hua knows good food. We don't know anything about it. Wei Lontian said, I'm hungry now. Ha, brother Wang Yi, when are we going to eat? Wang Yi patted his chest and said, I'll get them to prepare immediately. Our Dragon Brigade soldiers are all good chefs. There's no need for special cooks. Even if I randomly pick one of them from the training grounds, he can still make a few delicious dishes. When the chiefs heard about alcohol, they smacked their lips. There were rules that forbade them from drinking in the afternoon. Yin Guoqiang thought to himself that he should wait until Zhang Bai won the championship trophy in the afternoon. Then he would invite everyone to drink and celebrate. No matter what, he had to hold his head high. No one knew that the legendary kid from the Dragon Brigade, Su Yun, had returned and was preparing an all-goat feast for them in the kitchen. In Su Yun's words, he would feed them first and then give them a hard blow to let them know that the Dragon Brigade's food wasn't that easy to digest. It was impossible to eat the Dragon Brigade's lamb and steal the Dragon Brigade's glory. They could only choose one of the two. Chapter 10:18. Although the lamb feast was delicious, it wasn't just the leaders who were enjoying it. The soldiers under them couldn't help but sigh at the difference in taste between their own brigade and that of the Dragon Brigade. Although the special forces didn't eat bad food, the same ingredients would always produce different tastes. This was undeniable. Wang Yi, I think you're setting up a trap for us. Yin Guoqiang joked. If you're going to let our people eat until they're 90% full, they won't be able to digest it. They'll feel uncomfortable fighting on stage. I think you should eat less. If there's a laxative in it, it won't make up for the losses. Leader, you're looking down on the Dragon Brigade too much. Wang Yi said unhappily. Do you think the Dragon Brigade looks like people who would do such a thing? We won't do such cheap tricks. Leader, don't judge a gentleman with that attitude. Yin Guoqiang had been at odds with Wang Yi since the beginning. Because Wang Yi didn't admit defeat, he was very unhappy. Wang Yi, are you saying that I'm a villain? That makes me uncomfortable. Every time I come to the Dragon Brigade, I'm always in a bad mood. Then don't blame my people for not going easy on you later. Zhang Bai put down the chopsticks in his hand and clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles cracked. Pure manliness was like this. He couldn't tolerate others looking down on him, especially when he thought that he would definitely win. Wang Yi raised his eyebrows and said to Zhang Bai, "What, you want to try fighting with me first? Young people are really hot-tempered these days. Although my old bones look useless, if we really fight, I'm afraid that you young people won't be able to withstand it. Kid, I still suggest that you throw a tantrum in the arena in the afternoon. If you want to cause trouble in the Dragon Brigade now, I'm afraid the Dragon Brigade won't agree." Wang Yi had already made plans. Ever since he saw Yin Guoqiang and saw how arrogant he was, he realized that he hadn't been strong enough. He immediately contacted Wan Guangxiao. When Wan Guangxiao heard that Yin Guoqiang was acting like a big boss in the Dragon Brigade, how could he be willing? Of course he wasn't willing. That was his territory. During the meeting yesterday, Wan Guangxiao was already very unhappy with Yin Guoqiang. Yin Guoqiang had relied on the Saber-Tooth Brigade and Zhang Bai jumped out. With Wan Guangxiao's temper, he couldn't take this lying down even if he was beaten to death. The reason why he didn't hesitate to let Su Yun return to the team was to let Su Yun teach Zhang Bai a lesson today. Of course, letting Su Yun return to the team wasn't something that could be done with just one sentence. The reason he didn't come to the Dragon Brigade in the morning was to settle the procedures for Su Yun. The restoration of a Special Forces member's identity, and the identity that allowed him to leave the team to live outside, wasn't a simple procedure. It was very troublesome. As the leader, he had been busy with this matter for 4 hours. It needed the signatures of the leaders of many departments. Otherwise, the procedure wouldn't take effect. Su Yun's identity wouldn't take effect. All of this had to be done before the martial arts competition started in the afternoon. Otherwise, Yin Guoqiang would definitely not admit defeat. Now, there was only one more thing to do. Wan Guangxiao was also anxious to return home. It was already 12:30 in the afternoon. The martial arts competition would start at 3 in the afternoon. He had to rush back to the team early. After hearing from Wang Yi that Yin Guoqiang was pretending to be a grandfather, Wan Guangxiao immediately gave Wang Yi an order. As long as Yin Guoqiang dared to pretend to be a grandfather, he was to be mercilessly suppressed. Even if all the members of the Dragon Brigade surrounded them and caused Yin Guoqiang to fly into a rage, he was to ruthlessly suppress his arrogance. Wan Guangxiao didn't believe that Yin Guoqiang would dare to cause trouble in the Dragon Brigade with just 3 subordinates. No matter how strong his subordinate, Zhang Bai, was, 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. Let's scare him first and let him know the temperament of the members of the Dragon Brigade. With Wan Guangxiao's support, Wang Yi didn't have anything to worry about. When he spoke, Hua Leiteng, who had been waiting outside the canteen's single room, pushed open the door. "Shezuan, our brothers have eaten and drank to their fill. We're thinking of moving around and digesting. I wonder if we can be so bold as to let the fierce tiger of the northeast, Zhang Bai, show us his skills and let us broaden our horizons." Hearing the provocation, Zhang Bai stood up with a bang. He wasn't afraid of this kind of provocation. Moving around was fine. He also wanted to digest. Yin Guoqiang, however, was very clear-headed. He shouted, "Sit down. Before the martial arts competition, no one is allowed to fight." He didn't want his subordinates to waste their energy because of this. Only those who won in the arena were the winners. Fighting below not only wouldn't give them any glory, they might even be punished. Moreover, the other party had more people. Zhang Bai definitely wouldn't have an advantage. Yin Guoqiang wouldn't do such a bad deal. Yin Guoqiang could only swallow this anger in his stomach. Compared to the matter just now, this was a serious show of strength. However, it wasn't aimed at everyone. It was only aimed at Yin Guoqiang. But he, Yin Guoqiang, wouldn't lose his composure because of this. It was because he was stronger that Wan Guangxiao was targeting him. His subordinates didn't dare to act rashly. Therefore, Yin Guoqiang wouldn't vent his anger on the Special Forces members outside the door. He would wait until he got the championship trophy before humiliating Wan Guangxiao. What he wanted was to humiliate Wan Guangxiao in front of everyone. Everything else had nothing to do with him. He couldn't be bothered to think too much about it. Ha ha ha, the competition hasn't started yet. Our youngsters can't hold it in anymore. Lu Yenshan tried to smooth things over. I don't even remember if I had such a temper when I was young. Once a person gets older, their temper also becomes older. Ha ha ha, it's not even 1/10 of what it used to be. That's right, that's right. Guoqiang and Wan's tempers are still young. Ha ha ha, Qi Tianda also joked. Wei Lontian called for more food. Come, come, let's eat. After eating, we have to let the contestants have a good rest. Otherwise, they won't be able to bring us the most exciting competition in the afternoon. After saying that, he said to the youngsters, "You guys are the key figures. Eat your fill." The others were fine, but with Zhang Bai's personality, how could he tolerate what had just happened? Right now, he was not in the mood to eat. He was thinking about how to teach this group of brats from the Divine Dragon Brigade a lesson. They were obviously weaker than him. What was there to be arrogant about? There was a saying that went, if you don't fix a tree, it won't be straight. If you don't fix a person, he will be valiant. He, Zhang Bai, came here with the bureau chief this time to teach these people a lesson. He wanted to let them know that the saber-toothed tiger wasn't to be trifled with. But before they could do anything, the other party had already shown them who was the boss and they couldn't do anything. Chapter 1019. As the saying goes, you'll know who's the horse and who's the mule. The once-in-a-decade Special Operations Group Elite Martial Arts Competition was the biggest stage for this. If the head captain of the Special Operations Group wanted to walk with his head held high for the next 10 years, he would have to let his generation of youngsters win the championship first. Although there was no explicit rule that prohibited older members from participating, any member of the Special Forces who was over 30 years old would voluntarily withdraw from the competition. The leaders also wouldn't arrange for them to participate in the competition, for fear that others would say that they had an unfair advantage and that they were bullying the weak. Therefore, for the past few decades, the participants of the competition were selected from the Special Forces between the ages of 20 and 30. Every team would only arrange for one person to participate in the competition. The first round of elimination would begin. It wasn't like the World Cup. Although the elite martial arts competition was a once-in-a-decade competition, the competition had never lasted more than 2 hours. The participants were all experts, and sometimes, victory or defeat could be decided in a single move. Even if it was a battle of attrition, the result would be decided in 20 minutes. The competition would begin at 3:00. At this moment, the competition arena had already been arranged. There weren't any fancy decorations. It was just the empty space in the center where the Dragon Brigade sparred every year. It was about 300 square meters of hard ground. It was baked hard by the hot summer sun. This piece of hard ground was the real barren land. Wan Guangxiao rushed back an hour and a half earlier. He had settled all the matters regarding Su Yun's return to the team. Now, Su Yun was a person of status again. Su Yun didn't waste any time. He quickly put on the brand new digital camouflage tactical pants and a brand new dark green t-shirt. The Dragon Fury team's magic sticker was directly pasted on the cuffs of his short-sleeved shirt. Of course, Su Yun's identity as a member of the Dragon Brigade had also been prepared. Now, Su Yun was a person of status. When Wan Guangxiao heard about Yin Guoqiang's arrogance during the meal, he was immediately displeased. He did not blame his subordinates for surrounding the canteen and provoking the Saber-Tooth Brigade's Siberian tiger, Zhang Bai. This was the imposing manner of the Dragon Brigade. No matter who it is, even if it's Yin Guoqiang, as long as you dare to make a fuss, I won't hold back. If you think you're awesome, go back to your Saber-Tooth Brigade and make a fuss. This is the Dragon Brigade, not your saber-toothed tiger. So, you can't make a fuss here. Wan Guangxiao slammed the table and scolded, "Rest my ass. They're all from the Special Forces. Are they treating the Dragon Brigade as a vacation place? My men didn't even complain about resting, yet they're resting. Sound the alarm now. Everyone, gather and sing the national anthem. The louder the better. The head captain had given the order. Who would dare to disobey? A sharp alarm woke up the few leaders who were about to take a short break. Everyone looked outside cautiously. They didn't know what had happened. This was too sudden. It's obvious that the Dragon Brigade is purposely messing with us. Yin Guoqiang was extremely unhappy. His face darkened as he said, I'd like to see what kind of medicine they have up their sleeves. Let's go. Hua Fei shook his head helplessly. The head captain of the Special Forces liked to pick fights when he was young. They had been picking fights since they were 18 or 19 years old. They competed and competed with each other. Even at such an old age, none of them were willing to back down. It was no wonder that Yin Guoqiang was so aggressive this time. He was a very outstanding soldier, but he had always been suppressed by Wan Quangxiao. Now that he finally had a chance to shine, how could he not show off? If it were him, he would definitely bring Zhang Bai along to show off his prowess in the mystical Dragon Brigade. Of course, it wasn't only Yin Guoqiang who was curious. Everyone went out to see what was going on. They wanted to ask the Dragon Brigade what they were doing in the afternoon. How could they let them sleep? But when everyone went out, they were all dumbfounded. It had to be said that Wan Quangxiao had some tricks up his sleeve. There were hundreds of people in the Divine Dragon Brigade. Regardless of whether they were from the Special Forces or the medical team, whether they were civilian soldiers or miscellaneous soldiers, all of them were gathered under the flying five-starred red flag. The rhythm of March of the Volunteer Army suddenly sounded from the loudspeakers. The entire Dragon Brigade was filled with majestic singing. Rise. People who don't want to be slaves. Build our new Great Wall with our flesh and blood. The Chinese nation has reached its most dangerous time. Everyone was forced to let out their last roar. Rise. 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 We are of one mind, braving the enemy's gunfire, advance. Braving the enemy's gunfire, advance. 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 The singing of this song was so passionate that it shook the heavens and the earth. What else could Yin Guoqiang and the others do? Of course, they also stood at attention and saluted to the fluttering national flag. They sang the national anthem seriously to the rhythm of the March of the Volunteer Army. This was not a joke. When it came to matters of national dignity, no one dared to be careless. Under the national flag and singing the national anthem, who would dare to complain that singing in the afternoon was disturbing their sleep? Wan Quangxiao was determined to wrestle with Yin Guoqiang. How dare you come to my territory and show off? You should take a look at how important the Saber-Tooth Brigade is. Humph, let's wait and see. The national anthem was repeated over and over again, but the members of the mystical Dragon Brigade seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. Even Fat Top from the cooking squad did not complain about being tired. He allowed the sunlight to evaporate the moisture in his fat bit by bit. His entire shirt was soaked in sweat, but he still insisted on singing at the top of his lungs. Just based on the spirit of the Dragon Brigade members, the other brigades could not admit defeat. Even if they still had to compete in the afternoon, they still sang with all their might. They were afraid that their voices would be completely drowned out by the collective voices of the Dragon Brigade. This competition lasted for more than an hour. Seeing that it was almost time for the martial arts competition, Wan Quangxiao finally gave the order to stop singing. The martial arts competition was about to begin. Everyone gathered at the hard ground in the center of the arena. All the teams and groups took their seats according to the rules. Of course, the leaders of the Special Operations Group had to sit on the judging panel. Wan Quangxiao, Yin Guoqiang, Wei Lantian, Hua Fei, Lu Yenshan and Qi Tianda were guided to the front row of the leaders' seats. Next was the appearance of the representatives elected by the brigades. As the host of the competition, Wang Yi cleared his throat. He started with the introduction of the two strong soldiers from the Air Force Special Operations Group. The member sent by the White-Headed Eagle Brigade this time is Murong Bai, nicknamed Fierce Eagle. He is one of the few talents in the younger generation of the White-Headed Eagle Brigade. Wang Yi began his introduction. The representative sent by the Sky Eagle Brigade is the red-bellied eagle, Kong Duan. He was the one who chased away the Japanese's reconnaissance planes that tried to harass us with a single plane. He is definitely the best in the Sky Eagle Brigade. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.